Hello, hello. My name is Ashlee and welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to be watching the New York mayoral debate part 2. So this is the second mayoral debate. I think this is the last one before the election. So yes, very exciting. And let me know if my audio is okay. I have been having to deal with it a lot today because my little microphone arm broke, and now I'm just having to deal with it like regular. And so excuse me, for like an hour before this I've been like testing it, so hopefully it works. I was so nervous. I was like, oh no. Anyway, so that's what's going on today. It's about to start in like 2 minutes. So I'm very excited. And before we get into it, please like and subscribe, turn on post notifications. This is a little bit earlier than I normally stream, and that's just because I wanted to watch the debate. I was very excited because I had plans with a friend last debate, so now I can finally do this debate. So I'm very excited to watch it live and react with everyone. There was one more thing I was gonna say and I forgot. So okay, let me share. Am I too loud? Just let me know. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. And actually created this like little debate bingo card, and I posted it as like a post on my YouTube. If you click on it, you can see like the whole thing and like screenshot it. I need to create a Discord so I can like send these things in chat. But yeah. Anyway, so if you want to follow along and do that, please do. All right, now let's watch the debate. Let's see if
covering the Cuomo campaign.
Okay, just check my audio, make sure it sounds okay.
One of the concerns experience and know how to manage this city.
Let me know.
So I think that this is
okay, so it hasn't started just yet.
Bit of a nod to that idea. By keeping
start it, but good evening. I can't wait for the election to come along with Prop 50 in California. I'm voting yes for that. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I saw that at the No King's Day protest that they what was it? And was it in San Francisco, or what was that at? There was somewhere. And it said yes on Prop 50, and it was in California. That was really cool. And it was like No Kings, yes on Prop 50, and that was like a part of their protest. It was amazing. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I need to look into what Prop 50 is, because I saw that, and so I am intrigued to know what that is. Is that Actually, I think I do know what that is. Is that the, oh, that's to combat gerrymandering, right? In California? Yes, definitely vote yes on that. That is very exciting. Sorry, it just took me a second to remember what it was. I think this is going to start soon. Let's see. Almost. Let me know if it's like echoey or bad or anything, please. So I spent like an hour trying to do this earlier. It was quite a feat, I gotta say. I was like, oh my god, this is never gonna work. Yeah. Alright. I probably shouldn't have this music on. It's so funny, like, you know how it's like fair use to use news and stuff, but sometimes the news, they use music that's like copyrighted, and so you could be watching a news segment and then it gets copyright stricken just because they use music that is copyright stricken. Okay, let's watch this. Yay! General election for mayor. Woohoo! Okay, they're up there. God, they're still playing the music. Oh, why do they have to play all this music? Oh, here we go.
Good evening. Welcome to the final general election debate in the race for mayor of New York City.
Yay!
I'm Errol Lewis, political anchor here at Spectrum News New York 1, and we're coming to you live from the LaGuardia Performing Arts Center at LaGuardia Community College in Queens.
Oh, that's so cool.
Over the next 90 minutes, you're going to hear from the leading mayoral candidates about the biggest issues in New York, including the cost of living, the education crisis, and public safety.
Is it loud
I'm joined
enough,
tonight by Katie Honan of the
Sorry,
news organization The City, and
I'm
Brian Lehrer
because
of
it was really bad
WNYC
earlier.
Radio and Gothamist.
The audio situation.
Tonight's debate is brought to you by the New York City Campaign Finance Board, the city agency that administers the Public Matching Funds program. It's also sponsored by Spectrum News, New York One, WNYC Gothamist, and the news site The City, and Spectrum Noticias, and our co-sponsors, the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at CUNY, the Center for New York City and State Law at New York Law School, the Museum of the City of New York, and John Jay College of Criminal Justice. You can watch tonight's debate without a paywall on ny1.com. It is also being broadcast on NYC TV, WNYC Radio, C-SPAN, the Spectrum News YouTube page, and thecity.nyc. It's in Spanish on Spectrum Noticias and YouTube.
The candidates joining us tonight have met a fundraising threshold established by the Campaign Finance Board. The seat is currently held by Eric Adams, who has decided not to run for re-election. In alphabetical order, Andrew Cuomo is a former governor of New York, running on an independent line.
Which I think is really funny.
Zohran Mamdani is the Democratic nominee, representing parts of Queens in the state assembly since 2021. And Curtis Sliwa is the Republican nominee and the founder of the Guardian Angels.
Now for the rules. The rules you see on your screen right now have been agreed to by all of the candidates. Each candidate will deliver an opening statement of up to 45 seconds, and then answers to our questions will generally be limited to 60 seconds with a chance for rebuttals. Candidates will have an opportunity to ask one opponent one question in our cross-examination round. So let's begin. This will be the last time all three candidates will be together on stage.
So
the next mayor will be sworn into office 71 days from now on January 1st, 2026. He will inherit a city with an affordability crisis, a tense relationship with the federal government, and millions of New Yorkers who very likely did not support him. Let's begin our debate with your opening statements to viewers. You have 45 seconds. The order was determined by a random drawing on live television this morning, and we'll begin with Curtis Sliwa. Good evening.
Everybody loves Curtis Sliwa now.
It's us versus them. It's us versus the insiders and the billionaires. It's us versus Cuomo. It's us versus Zohran. This is a campaign not about power. This is a campaign about you, the people. And I know many of you hardworking New Yorkers, you tell me you've been pushed aside, you've been silenced. These are the people that have all the money, all the connections. They've made their backroom deals, but we have something more important. We have you, the people. And we're not going to be silenced anymore. We're going to fight. Tonight, I want you to look at the content of my policies, to know that I've served this city for more than 50 years, the city that I love. And I'm going to share with you my vision to make New York City safer again, to make New York City more affordable again, and where everybody once again can live the American dream.
Thank you. Next is Andrew Cuomo. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. New York's first, thank you to the moderators. Thank you all for being here. And go Knicks, go Knicks, go Knicks. I hope we get an update on the score. New York is the greatest city on the globe. But we are at a pivotal moment. And the voters are going to have to decide in this election what candidate has the plan to save this city, and what candidate can get it done, not just talk about it. My main opponent has no new ideas. He has no new plan. It's Bill de Blasio rehash, and we know how that turned out. He's never run anything, managed anything. He's never had a real job. I will hire 5,000 new police, build 500,000 new units. I will cut taxes. I will grow jobs. And I will end this hate-mongering and division that is tearing this city apart.
Why is he pointing at Zohran?
Because that's not who we are as a New Yorker.
What is he talking about?
You know I can make change. You know I can make government work. I've done it before. I'll be ready on day one.
Okay, thank you. Next is Zohran Mamdani. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you to the moderators, and thank you to New Yorkers for tuning in. I know you'd rather be watching the Knicks. While there are three candidates on this stage, you will hear only two messages. My opponents, who spend more time trying to convince the other to drop out than actually proposing their own policies, will speak only of the past, because that's all that they know. I am the sole candidate running with a vision for the future of this city. Andrew Cuomo will spend much of tonight attacking me. He is a desperate man, lashing out because he knows that the one thing he's always cared about, power, is now slipping away from him. He will amplify right-wing talking points, he will share conspiracy theories, and he will do these things to make you feel that this should keep you up at night. But I've been spending the last year listening to New Yorkers, and I know what actually keeps you up. It's whether or not you can afford to live a safe and dignified life in this city.
Yes.
I have plans for our future. My opponents only have fear.
Yes.
Thank you very much, candidates. Let's start tonight with some breaking news that happened yesterday afternoon when federal agents descended on Canal Street, arresting street vendors who have been selling counterfeit designer merchandise for as long as any of us can remember. This is the first time we've seen major federal law enforcement activity in the city outside of arrests at Immigration Court in Lower Manhattan. And some critics are now ringing an alarm bell, calling it a dangerous and unprecedented use of federal agents in New York City. Others say that the vendors were a major quality of life problem in the neighborhood that the NYPD had ignored.
Who
so the candidates, I'll ask each of you to respond to this. How should the mayor and the NYPD have handled both the presence of the street vendors and then the federal action? We'll start with you, Mr. Cuomo.
I've had a lot of dealings with President Trump. And there's only one way to deal with him. He puts his finger in your chest, and you have to put your finger right back in his chest. I've actually had this situation with ICE interfering in New York before. It was upstate New York where ICE just showed up and started to take action. And I called the president, and I went down to the White House, and I said, that doesn't work in New York. You don't send ICE in without coordinating with our police. It's not smart, it's duplicative,
so he's going to coordinate with them, is what he's saying.
We don't need
he's going to
ICE
coordinate
to
with
do
them,
quality of life crimes.
is what he's saying.
We don't need them to worry about illegal vendors.
So it'd be fine if he just coordinated with
That's
them.
a basic policing function for NYPD, Consumer Affairs, etc. I would have called the president and I would have said, look, you're way out of bounds, they're way out of bounds, call them back or I'm going to have the NYPD step in and stop them because this is not their jurisdiction. You're in the city of New York.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani.
ICE is a reckless entity that cares little for the law and even less for the people that they're supposed to serve.
Yep.
What we need to be doing here in our city is to end the chapter of collaboration between City Hall and the federal government, which we've seen under Mayor Adams. What we need to do is actually pass the street vending reform bills that have been in the city council, some of which that this mayor has actually overridden. That's an example of how we can both protect street vendors, ensure quality of life, and leave no stone unturned in delivering for the people of this city, as opposed to working with a president who is looking to declare war on those same people.
Yes.
Mr. Sliwa.
Unlike both of my adversaries, I've patrolled that area many times, Church and Canal. And as you said, Errol, that activity has been going on for a long time. Selling the knockoff, sometimes stolen contraband by a series of people. The local 5th precinct, they make arrests when they have obviously cause to do so, and they complain that they have to release them because of no cash bail, of which both of my adversaries are in favor of and I'm not.
How are they hurting the
feds
community?
should
Like, I
not
just
have
don't
stepped
understand.
into
Like,
this
this is just such a
situation.
dumb thing to get
There's
upset
not
about.
communication between the local authorities and the feds. This is a matter that should have been left up to the NYPD. But we can't tolerate citizens attacking our federal law enforcement forces in the street because then that will just lead to anarchy.
Let me ask a related question. President Trump has been commenting on this race and all of you on a regular basis. He's been less than glowing when talking about each of you, especially you, Mr. Mamdani. I'd like you each to describe whatever combination of defiance, diplomacy, and cooperation you will use as mayor if President Trump continues to increase the federal government's role in the affairs of our city while also threatening to decrease funding. Start with you this time, Mr. Sliwa.
Well, both my adversaries have decided to bump chests with President Trump to prove who's more macho. You can't beat Trump. He holds most of the cards. He's already cut federal funding for Medicaid, for the SNAP program, and it's threatened to cut funds for NYCHA.
That's not popular.
So if you're all of a sudden going to get adversarial,
working with Trump
you're
is
going to
not
lose.
popular.
And who gets hurt? The people of New York City.
Especially in
with
New
Trump,
York.
it's always the art of the deal. You have to go, you have to try to negotiate, whether it's with his minions or himself. He'll want you to give in order to get a little bit. But if you immediately act like you're going to take them on, like, you know, it's going to be a one-on-one fight, we're going to lose. All the people in New York City are going to lose. You have to be able to show respect. And I think if you show respect, you'll get respect, and you'll protect the New Yorkers who are so desperately in need of federal funds. What's the good of it? They'll bump chests with Donald Trump. They won't get the money, and then they'll blame Donald Trump. I will negotiate with Donald Trump and try to get the best deal possible for our poor and indigent citizens.
Dude, he doesn't want to work with you guys. That's
Okay,
the whole
Mr.
point.
Cuomo. Yeah, the difference on this question is I've actually lived it, and I've done it with President Trump over many years through the most difficult situation that this country has gone through, COVID plus.
You did not do very
You're
well,
wrong.
sir.
You're going to have to confront President Trump. He is hyper-aggressive, and he is going to overstep his bounds. And you are going to have to confront him. And you can beat him. I confronted him, and I have beaten him. He was going to quarantine New York during COVID, and I stopped him. He was going to cut aid to federal programs, and I stopped him.
Is he going against
But
quarantining?
you
Was
also
that
want
just
to be
his
in a
thing?
place where you can cooperate on good things, because we need federal help if we're going to save our city and rebuild our city.
What?
President Trump
What?
has to respect you. He sent the National Guard into 20 cities. City he didn't send it into? New York. Because I talked to him and I said, we don't need you here. He has said he'll take over New York if Mondami wins, and he will, because he has no respect for him. He thinks he's a kid and he's going to knock him on his tuchus. So it is a balance, but you're going to have to be adversarial when you need to, but you want to cooperate to get good things done in this city, and you need federal help.
Mondami.
I was start clapping after every question.
We first just heard from the Republican candidate for mayor, and then we heard from Donald Trump's puppet himself, Andrew Cuomo. You could turn on TV any day of the week, and you will hear Donald Trump share that his pick for mayor is Andrew Cuomo. And he wants Andrew Cuomo to be the mayor, not because it will be good for New Yorkers, but because it will be good for him. Look, Donald Trump ran on three promises. He ran on creating the single largest deportation force in American history. He ran on going after his political enemies, and he ran on lowering the cost of living. If he wants to talk to me about the third piece of that agenda, I will always be ready and willing. But if he wants to talk about how to pursue the first and second piece of that agenda at the expense of New Yorkers, I will fight him every single step of the way.
Hell yeah. I feel like that clap was louder.
That's not what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump does an analysis of the race. Donald Trump, I believe, wants Mondami. That is his dream, because he will use him politically all across the country, and he will take over New York City. Make no mistake. It will be President Trump and Mayor Trump, and he will come in and take over the city. I have no doubt. All he said was, his analysis is after the polls, it's a tough choice between a Democrat and a communist. And he considers Mondami a communist. He happens to be a socialist. But between a communist and a Democrat, it's a tough choice for him.
Okay. All right. Thank you, candidates. Brian wants to talk to you about some important issues on the minds of New Yorkers.
Oh, my God.
Hi, candidates. Thank you for coming tonight. Yeah, and the cost of living is our next topic. You've all cited it as a major factor, and of course, so many New Yorkers are experiencing this, especially when it comes to rising housing costs. And many New Yorkers were shocked this week as a new report from the group Advocates for Children revealed that about 154,000 New York City public school students have been homeless at some point during the last year. 65,000 lived in homeless shelters. Even more were in doubled-up situations with no home of their own. It's never been over 150,000 before, they tell us. And it amounts to 1 in 7 New York City kids. As mayor, how would each of you tackle this problem to help this vulnerable population? And in this round, we're going to go Mr. Mamdani, Mr. Cuomo, Mr. Sliwa. So Mr. Mamdani, you go first.
This is a stain on our city. to see this many children in our public school system be homeless, and to know that this is the 9th consecutive year that it's more than 100,000 of those children. What we need to do is ensure that next year is not the same, and we are going to do that by building the housing necessary such that New Yorkers are not priced out of this city or forced to live in shelters. And that's why my campaign is going to deliver 200,000 new affordable homes across the 5 boroughs, all while freezing the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants.
Yeah.
Now, in the public school system, we also have a program called Every Child and Family is Known. It links a child who is living in a homeless shelter with an employee of the public school system. It also links that employee with the child's family. It's been shown to increase attendance records, self-esteem, a level of belonging in that school system. I am going to increase that pilot program to more than 200 schools, and we're going to do it because we have to deliver for these children.
Yes, I like that. I love that.
Zoran is a great actor. He missed his calling. Freeze the rent sounds great. Yeah, it affects about 25% of the number of housing units in the city of New York. It's not a new idea. Bill de Blasio did it. It turned out to be a debacle. And it does nothing for 75% of the units. And for the 25, it just postpones the increase and actually causes us to lose units because landlords took them off the market.
Jump in and ask you to address the homeless children question, and we will get to rent freeze.
Yeah, well, the homeless,
I'm going to ask you to answer the question,
is
please.
you need more affordable housing. And I'm saying freeze the rent was done under de Blasio. It doesn't work. It's a canard.
Okay, but what's your plan?
And just a great 3-word slogan
Do you have a
for
plan?
TikTok. The way to increase availability of affordable housing is to build affordable housing. I was the HUD secretary. I did it all across the country. We have 1% vacancy rate. We're not building enough affordable housing, and you need a competent, productive government to do that. And that's what I've done across the country, across the state. Make
that
government
doesn't
work.
seem to
You
have
get the
worked now,
supply
does
up,
it?
the rents will come down.
Did that work? Is that working? Where are we now? If you did it back then. Hello?
So you get 30 seconds.
We are in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 children in the New York City public school system being homeless. That means it began when Andrew Cuomo was the governor. And what did he do? What did he do about it? He did not do anything. He spent more money on a singing water fountain at LaGuardia Airport than he did on the average cost of an affordable housing.
Okay, that water fountain's
That
really
is
cool,
the
though.
record that we have in display.
It is really
and what
cool.
we need is a change in this city, not more of the same.
Yeah, but if I may,
That was an awesome answer.
The homeless issue, number of homeless since I left, has more than doubled during his administration and the state's administration. Since I left, homeless rate is more than doubled. When I left, the vacancy rate on housing was 4.5%. It's now 1%. This man never even proposed a bill on housing or education. Never even proposed a bill.
Keep going back and forth between the two of you. Mr. Sleewer, it's your turn.
Andrew, you didn't leave. You fled from being impeached by the Democrats in the state legislature. You fled. But let's get back on topic, because I'm the only candidate up here who's been into many of the over 300 Department of Homeless Services shelters, and the family shelters are unsafe for the families there. We have to make them safer. We have to bring teachers into the shelter. Many times, the mothers or the guardian have to get on bus after bus and take them to a school that's 2 or 2.5 hours away. This is a horror situation that's taking place, and we have to prioritize this, because this number of homeless children is going to grow. It takes 5 years to build affordable housing. We need to address it in the shelters itself to be able to handle it, so that the teachers can come in, whether they're public school teachers, charter school teachers, and I know there are a number of parochial school teachers who love children who would volunteer their efforts to do that.
We're going to give it to Katie Honan now to ask about another aspect of affordable housing.
We're going to switch to the millions of New Yorkers who are renters, specifically those in rent-regulated apartments. There are more than 1 million New Yorkers living in these units, most of them rent-stabilized. Mr. Mamdani, you've proposed a rent freeze for these tenants. Mr. Cuomo, you don't support that, and you've proposed a new means test for having a rent-stabilized apartment. Mr. Mamdani, our question, how can you know in advance what the balance between landlord needs and tenant needs will be in future years. We've seen a lot of inflation in recent years. Haven't small landlords felt that pinch as well? And then we have other questions for the other candidates.
Okay, most of the landlords are not
We've
small
seen
anymore,
time and
right?
again mayors use their power with the Rent Guidelines Board to hike the rent on those same more than 2 million New Yorkers.
A lot of them are big
This same Rent
conglomerates.
Guidelines Board did a study that found that landlords of those units had seen their profits increase by more than 12%. Their response, hike the rent on rent-stabilized tenants who have a median household income of $60,000. I believe that tenants across our city deserve relief, and I also believe that city government can work to alleviate the pressures for landlords of those units without having to put that burden on those same tenants. It's possible to keep New Yorkers in this city and to help landlords with rising insurance costs, water bills, Con Edison, and a broken property tax system.
Thank you. Mr. Sliwa, what's your proposal for helping New Yorkers with the historically high rent burdens in either stabilized or market rate units?
Well, the first thing, we have 6,000 empty apartments in NYCHA. That is a sin. That's what the mayor can control right away. We need to move those families with children in. For those who live in rent-stabilized apartments
You do that, though.
and have their rent subsidized, Zoran Mandami, we need to make
They
sure
love
that
that.
the
They
big
love to say that. That's
realtors,
so funny.
that they have to pay a vacancy tax because they're holding
Okay, I
off
like
on
the
those
vacancy
apartments.
tax.
They're not
I
putting
do
them
like
out into
that.
the marketplace because they want to flip the
I
building.
like that.
Not for the mid-sized landlords or the small landlords. They need the help. And there are a number of people in the outer boroughs. They own a home. They live on the property. They're not absentee landlords. 2, 3, 4 apartments, and they're deciding not to put them in the marketplace when somebody either leaves or dies because they have to deal with tenant-landlord court, which is an absolute nightmare for small landlords. We got to make sure it's a fair playing field so that the tenants are protected, but the landlords are protected so they're not stuck with
what?
squatters
No.
for 4, 5, or 6
Tenants
years,
are
which
barely protected and
destroys their
barely have
equity
rights.
and forces them to leave.
Thank you.
They should have
Mr.
more.
Cuomo, you signed a law in 2019 repealing a means test to live in a rent-stabilized apartment. What's your position now, and what changed in that?
The
Zoran
2019 law was added tenant protections that had never been added before, and protections against tenant evictions. But to answer your question, you cannot, Zoran said, the tenant doesn't have to pay more rent, but we're going to cover the landlord's costs. No, you can't do both, and that's not what happened. We did freeze the rent with de Blasio. We lost units because the landlords took them off the market because you weren't covering their costs. The reason the Rent Guidelines Board went up after the freeze was because you had to make up for all the backlog of costs. And this, I'm going to freeze the rent. If people think it applies to all of them, no, just the 25% of units that are rent stabilized. And by the way, it's all BS because the mayor doesn't have the power to do it anyway. The Rent Guidelines Board does.
You just said de
and he
Blasio
doesn't
did it.
control the Rent Guidelines Board. So nothing
You just
is
said
going
de
to
Blasio
happen.
did it.
It's
You
all
just said
this.
a
It's
different
just
mayor
more
did this. A
political
past mayor did
blather.
that. Froze the rent. So what are you
Mr. Mandani,
saying?
you can respond.
If you want a candidate for mayor who tells you everything that he cannot do, then Andrew Cuomo should be your choice. If you want a candidate for mayor who will use every tool at their disposal, including the 9 appointees at the Rent Guidelines Board, all of whom are appointed by the mayor, then I am the candidate for you.
Oh, yeah.
We have to go to Errol, sir. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I don't
you
know.
weren't named, so I'm sorry. We're going to go to Errol, talk about
Can I just,
development.
my name was invoked. Can I get the rebuttal?
Quickly.
Okay, quickly. The mayor doesn't appoint the Rent Guidelines Board. He's wrong. They are appointed to a term, and they're on holdovers. And when the term is over, you can appoint. But it takes a number of years to get control.
Okay, understood. Candidates, right now we are just blocks away from the site of the Long Island City rezoning plan, which has been under consideration for a decade at this point, and in its latest version would create 15,000 new apartments. That plan, like the recently passed City of Yes 5-borough rezoning reflects a reality that hundreds of thousands of units, as many as 1 million new units, will be needed in New York City over the next 10 years. What is your plan to get new units built quickly? And the order of this will be Mr. Cuomo, then Mr. Sliwa, then Mr. Mamdani.
Yeah, Sliwa said before it takes 5 years to build affordable housing. No, it doesn't. No, it shouldn't. That's an incompetent government. You can actually get competent government and well-managed government. I built LaGuardia Airport, even though he doesn't like it, in 4 years. Okay? So don't tell me it takes 5 years to build a housing unit. You have to redo HPD. You have to change the entire organizational structure. You have the zoning, but you have to start hundreds, if not thousands, of sites simultaneously. Private sector developers, partner with not-for-profits, partner with CDCs, use city-owned sites, use air rights, make a deal with the unions. But this has to be the #1 priority. The way I did 2nd Avenue Subway or the Mario Cuomo Bridge or the Kosciuszko Bridge, this project is thousands of housing developments being accelerated, expedited, facilitated at one time. And we need 500,000 units. That's the way you're going to make New York City affordable and still allow the talent to come here.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa.
I'm the only candidate here on the stage who is opposed to the city of yes. Both my adversaries are for it. Make sure on election day when you turn over your ballot and you have the initiatives, you vote no. And you know how oftentimes I've been accused, how are you going to work with the Democratic-controlled city council? I, Adrian Adams, and the predominant Democrats, including many of them very liberal and progressive, believe no to yes. I have a simple plan. It takes a year. We have 25 Empire State buildings that would be empty and just have office space. It'll never be used because business doesn't operate the way it used to. Retrofit them to affordable apartments. Most are in Manhattan. The infrastructure is there. You set up a partnership with developers. It'll put men and women to work, and you'll get your affordable apartments a lot quicker and not be a burden to the outer boroughs and the residential communities because you're in the back pockets, Andrew, of the developers who wine, dined, and pocket lined you.
Let me ask you a follow-up on that, Mr. Sliwa. Do you think each elected city council member should have basically veto power over whether or not housing gets built in their district?
Absolutely. Local control. Community boards should have their say. What happened to zoning? We throw it out. Eric Adams. This city of yes is on steroids, and he went wild taking care of his developer friends as he knew he would be one and done. I told you he was corrupt. I told you there would be chaos, and I warned you in 2021. You should have elected me mayor then.
Okay.
Mr. Mamdani.
We need to build more housing all across New York City. Today, New York City builds about 4 houses for 1,000 people. Jersey City's at 7. Tokyo is at about 10. We need to do this by streamlining the processes of private sector construction across the city, by ensuring we're building more around hubs of mass transit. And we also need to ensure that the public sector is building truly affordable housing. And what I mean by truly affordable is housing that is built with the median household income in mind, which is $70,000 for a family of 4. And that's why my administration will do exactly that, scaling up programs we already had in HPD, like senior affordable rental apartments, SARA, like Ella, extremely low-level affordability. These are the kinds of programs that will deliver a city that New Yorkers can actually afford.
There was reference to the 3 housing-related charter amendment questions. I know Mr. Cuomo is on the record as saying he favors them. We just heard Mr. Sliwa say that he's against them. Where do you stand on those?
I'm appreciative that those measures will be on the ballot and that New Yorkers will be able to cast their votes for them. I know that we desperately need to build more housing in this city, and I also know that the jobs we create in the building of that housing should be good jobs as well.
What a political answer. What is your opinion, Zora? Come on.
Yes or no?
What is your opinion?
They're teaming up on Zoran.
Don't be a politician here.
I got it.
I love him. Cuomo's like, I got it.
I think think on the stage you can see two people appealing for the Republican Party's votes and myself.
Answer the question. Answer the question for once.
My question to you was, do you support the 3 ballot amendment questions?
I have not yet taken a position on those ballot amendment questions.
What a shocker.
All right.
What a shocker.
We're gonna
Don't
move
worry,
on.
once he takes it, he'll change it anyway.
We're going to move it on. We're going to
What
move
has he
on.
changed? What opinion has he
The rhetoric on the
changed?
campaign trail has become more heated in recent weeks. We have reached a point where 2 of the candidates on stage here tonight have armed security. I would like to spend a few minutes to see if we can dial down the rhetoric. Mr. Mamdani, some Jewish New Yorkers continue to say that your comments on Israel and the war in Gaza leave them feeling unsafe and concerned about their future in our city. Recently, several prominent New York rabbis took the unusual step of denouncing your candidacy, including the rabbi of the Park Avenue Synagogue in Manhattan and Rabbi Michael Miller, the longtime leader of the Jewish Community Relations Council, who is a friend to many of us. Do you have any regrets about how you've dealt with these issues? And will your longstanding views on the subject get in the way of your ability to be an effective mayor?
I look forward to being a mayor for every single person that calls this city home.
How many times have you had to say that?
Who voted for me in the Democratic primary, not just those that vote for me in this general election, but all 8.5 million New Yorkers. And that includes Jewish New Yorkers who may have concerns or opposition to the positions that I've shared about Israel and Palestine. You know, just a few weeks ago, I was on the M57, the slowest bus in New York City. And as I was seated there, there was a speech therapist who was sitting next to me. She told me that she was Jewish. She said that her daughter was a huge fan, but that she was not yet decided on who she was going to vote for. And she shared to me about her fears in this city, about rising anti-Semitism. And I told her what I will tell New Yorkers today, which is that I will be the mayor who doesn't just protect Jewish New Yorkers, but also celebrates and cherishes them, who doesn't just increase funding to hate crime prevention programs by 800%, who doesn't just ensure that the NYPD are outside of synagogues and temples on the high holy days, but also actually delivers on the implementation of the Hidden Voices curriculum in our school system so that children in this city learn about the beauty and the breadth of the Jewish experience right here in the 5 boroughs.
Okay, I've got a different...
Yeah, but can I just comment on that, please?
Of course. Your name wasn't mentioned.
You know, not everything is a TikTok video. You're the savior of the Jewish people? You won't denounce globalized intifada, which means kill Jews. There's unprecedented fear in New York. It was not several rabbis, Errol. It was 650 rabbis who signed the letter, not several.
Let me ask you
what about his
homophobia? Question, Mr. Cuomo. Many New Yorkers have serious grievances with Israel and the way the Israeli government under Benjamin Netanyahu has conducted the war in Gaza and expanded settlements in the West Bank. What would you say to and how would you handle New Yorkers who are in the streets, if you were mayor, protesting the actions of the Netanyahu government?
Fine. That's your right. Protest, demonstrate, disagree. God bless America. God bless New York City. And there is no doubt that there's 2 sides on what's going on, and the passions are very high. That doesn't justify anti-Semitic behavior in New York.
It doesn't justify having a Jewish
population that feels unprotected in New York.
The problem is you think being pro-Palestine is anti-Semitic. That's the problem.
Leaders
this is the whole problem here.
The flames of hatred against Jewish people, which is what Zoran does, in my opinion.
No, see, this is what I'm saying. You're conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, and that's why we're here, man.
About their
it's just
fears
Islamophobia.
About anti-Semitism in this city.
That he has to keep explaining himself.
Who takes it seriously, who roots it out of these 5 boroughs, not one who weaponizes it as a means by which to score political points on a debate stage.
Thank you. There you go. That was a great answer.
Excuse me.
You don't even know how to say intifada. Cuomo, Jesus Christ.
In a schoolyard.
Yeah, I heard you on the radio this morning.
John, this is personal for me. I know you are under threat. The mother of my 2 youngest sons who are raised Jewish, Melinda Katz, is prosecuting this person who came up and tried to do you harm. But let me speak on behalf of my 2 sons. When they've heard some of the statements you've made, like in support of global jihad, and I hear some people out there saying the Jews, their time is due, which means the same thing. They're frightened, they're scared.
Hasn't said anything.
They view you as the arsonist who fan the flames of
He
anti-Semitism.
hasn't said any of these things.
Accept the fact that you're coming in like a firefighter and you're going to put out these flames.
Jesus Christ.
You've got a lot of explaining
coming from
to
two
do,
fucking
a
white
lot
guys.
of
Give me a
apologizing
break.
to do. My sons are afraid. Their family, their friends, many in the Jewish
I'm gonna
community
lose it. I'm
are
losing
concerned
my
if
mind
you
right now. I'm
become mayor
actually
'cause
gonna
they
lose
don't
it.
think when anti-Semitism rears its ugly head, which
What
it's
has
now
he
doing more
done?
than ever before.
What has he done that is
that you will have
anti-Semitic?
the
What has he
ability to
done?
come in and
Absolutely
put out
nothing.
those flames of hate.
Curtis Lewa's own wife has gone against Israel.
I think
Crazy.
there is room for disagreement on many positions and many
God
policies, but I
damn,
also
man.
want to correct the record. I have never, not once, spoken in support of global jihad. That is
Exactly.
not something that I have said,
Just
and that continues to be ascribed to
racism.
me. And frankly, I think much of it has to do with the fact that I am the first Muslim candidate to be on the precipice of winning this election.
Yes. Y'all are racist. Two
All
white
the
guys
same,
going after
Curtis,
him. It's like, no,
I
man.
do
Look in
still
the
want to be
mirror.
mayor that will keep your sons safe, that will keep every single New Yorker safe. And it is my job to not only deliver on that commitment, but also to ensure that New Yorkers feel it every single day that they live in this city.
Okay, candidates, Brian's going to take us into the next section.
Thank you, Earl. And the next section is some individual political questions, one for
I hate
each
that
of you.
section every single
Let me
time.
start with you, Mr. Cuomo, then Katie will ask a question of Mr.
He's
Slewa.
blatantly racist and Islamophobic, and no one seems to care.
Mr. Cuomo, the last
Ridiculous.
time most New Yorkers saw you before this campaign was when you resigned your seat as governor under scandal in 2021. The most recent Quinnipiac University poll in this race shows that 54% of likely voters say you're unethical.
See what
Meanwhile,
makes
you
me
also have
laugh?
strained relations with Governor Hochul, State Attorney
See
General
what makes
Letitia
me laugh,
James, and
though I
others.
know he won't
What
keep
would you
anyone
say
safe,
right
but
now
he's
to
funny.
New Yorkers
No, he
who
is
have
funny.
questions about your moral compass and concerns that you cannot effectively work with other elected officials?
Yeah, well, first, you somewhat misstated the facts, but
He keeps
I
saying that.
resigned because
No,
there
man.
was allegations made. I didn't want this
Yeah,
waste the
allegations
time
of
and
SA.
distract state government.
And
I knew it was going to
somehow
take a
that
long time
doesn't seem
to
to
sort
stick to
out.
him.
I left,
Like people think he's orange
which I thought
anti-Semitic
was
sticks to him.
respectful to state government. We sorted it out legally.
No, you
Nothing
didn't,
came
man.
from any
You're
of the
harassing those
allegations. I
women.
was
Still.
dropped from the cases. You know
a lie.
that.
He's
We've had this
lying.
discussion 4 times, but you like to talk about the past rather than yesterday. I chose
Dude.
Governor Kathy Hochul. I would have no
Dude.
problem working with her. The legislature, I got 11 budgets passed on time. Most in modern political history. They haven't gotten one done on time since I was there. So don't tell me who knows how to work with the legislature. And a mayor being able to deal with that legislature is key. Because don't kid yourself, I've watched every governor and mayor since Ed Koch. There is a tension between the city and the state. The city's arguing for its budgets, the state is saying no, and the city has been getting screwed by the state, and that has to change, and the city has to be doing better.
Thank you. Katie?
To many New Yorkers, you have often presented yourself as more of a well-known New York character than a serious policy expert. Your critics have said your candidacy is making it more likely that Zohran Mamdani can win the election. What do you say to them and to others who feel that while your name recognition has seen a boost, your candidacy is not helpful to New Yorkers, including those who share your views?
Crazy.
Number one, I have 13 campaign offices open. I'm throughout the outer boroughs. You see the excitement
want him
and
to drop out. They
energy
want Sleewa to
of the
drop
working
out.
class people that I represent. I am the Republican populist candidate representing the working class, and I'm also, Katie, the candidate on the independent line, first ever, put together by my wife Nancy, who loves animals like so many. Save the animals, no-kill shelters, animal abusers go to jail. So people know
His
that
wife
I'm not
actually
just
seems cool,
running
which
to
is, like,
protect
very
people,
strange,
which has been
honestly.
my life as leader of the Guardian Angels. I'm there to protect our pets and animals, because remember, Mahatma Gandhi said,
What
a
does that have to do
society
with him
that does
dropping out of
not
the
take care of
race?
its animals does not take care of its people. Homeless, emotionally disturbed, veterans. I'm out there every day tending to their needs with the guardian angels, doing things that the city and state should have been doing a long time ago, but neglected them and instead spent $7 billion on migrants that we don't even know.
God.
That
See,
is
he's
a
racist.
disgrace.
He's funny until he says shit like
We should be
that.
there for our own people who are suffering and wallowing in desperation and despair.
Okay, Mr. Mamdani. You have criticized the politics of the past where leaders either avoid taking a stand on a key issue or try to be all things to all people. But at times during this campaign, you've carefully avoided answering tough questions. We saw an instance just a few minutes ago when I asked about how you plan to vote on those ballot initiatives next month. We've asked whether you support a major rezoning push for part of Queens, some of which is in your district. You've been unclear about how you think the city schools should be run, its governance structure. How is that different from politics as usual?
When it comes to our schools,
Oh,
I believe that every single
child.
child deserves to have an excellent public education. And we have not seen that under the stewardship of those schools with this mayoral administration. We have not seen it because we are not fully funding those schools. We are not on track to comply with the class size mandates of those schools. We are not even on track to ensure greater literacy levels across those schools, despite the strides that have been taken with NYC REITs. When it comes to rezoning, I've been very clear that I will always celebrate the addition of additional housing units across the city. I also believe that Gantry State Park and Queensbridge Park should be one contiguous park. Those are things that one can believe at the same time. And my critiques of the politics of the past is right here on the stage.
Ooh,
you can see in
yes.
Andrew Cuomo someone who had 10 years to deliver on so much of what he's spoken about. He says that taking 5 years to build affordable housing is the sign of an incompetent government. By his own words, that means he must have led an incompetent government.
Ooh.
That is what we are seeing because that is the record that is actually on offer.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. The mayor builds housing. The state allocates funding for localities. And I allocated more funding for housing than any governor in the history of the state of New York. All right? I did things. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency. And you've literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're now talking about in your campaign. You had the worst attendance record in the assembly. And you gave yourselves the highest raise in the United States of America. You went from $110,000 to $140,000, and then you never showed up for work, and you missed 80% of the votes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
No, it is always a pleasure to hear Andrew Cuomo create his own facts at every debate stage. We just had a former governor say in his own words that the city has been getting screwed by the state. Who was leading the state? It was you.
Yes.
You were leading the state for 10 years, screwing the city.
No.
You cut homelessness funding.
You
cut funding for the MTA.
You as a
You
legislator.
did all of these things, my friend. That's you.
Yes.
It's the past 4 years.
Okay, guys, I didn't want to have to do this, but you understand how this works. You can't talk over each other. Nothing works if you do that. I believe we've heard your response. I wanted to give you a quick word, and then we're going to move on.
I heard the both of them again fighting like kids in the schoolyard. Your resume could fit on a cocktail napkin, and Andrew, your failures could fill a public school library in New York City.
Okay, go ahead, Jenny.
We're going to move now to public safety. And there was some breaking news
God,
from the
see
New
you on
York
Channel
Times that
Gandhi.
you, Mr.
God damn it, he's got my
would
vote.
ask
Oh,
Police
shit,
Commissioner Jessica Tisch to stay
thing.
on as police commissioner if you are indeed mayor. I wanted to confirm that was true.
He's
And
truly
from
a
Mr.
wild
Cuomo and Mr.
individual.
Sleewa, would you ask the current police commissioner to stay on if you were elected. So, Mr. Mamdani, we'll start with you.
Yes, I can confirm that reporting. My administration will be relentless in its pursuit of safety and affordability for every New Yorker. And the delivery of that will require us to put together a team of the best and the brightest. Eric Adams stacked the upper echelons of the NYPD with corruption and incompetence. Commissioner Tisch took on a broken status quo, started to deliver accountability, rooting out corruption and reducing crime across the 5 boroughs. I've said time and again that my litmus test for that position will be excellence, and the alignment will be of that position. And I am confident that under a Mamdani administration, we would continue to deliver on that same mission and do so while creating the Department of Community Safety to ensure that mental health experts were the ones responding to the mental health crisis. Because safety and justice is at the cornerstone of our pursuit of public safety, and in doing so, we will also be able to deliver our agenda for affordability.
Thank you. And very briefly, quickly, Mr. Sliwa and Mr. Cuomo, would you ask Commissioner Tisch to stay on if you were elected mayor?
Yes, I would, for stability. But then again, I don't think she would serve with either Cuomo or Zoran, because she has railed against no cash bail. Cuomo, the architect of no cash bail. Zoran, the apprentice of no cash bail. That's why criminals are running in the street.
And Mr. Cuomo, would you ask her to stay on?
I would ask her to stay on. I don't believe Zoran when he says he would ask her to stay on. The DSA's position, his position has been to defund, disband the police. She wouldn't take that as current position. Today's position was freeze the budget. That would cause a reduction in police. She has called for more police. I've called for more police. Mayor Adams has called for more police.
Like, I don't get it.
Their philosophies are totally in
When I hear more police, I instantly go, no,
DSA calls for eliminating misdemeanors. He wants to decriminalize prostitution. I don't think she would support any of that.
Really
well, we can't speak for her. She's not here, but I will ask the public safety question. And we'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa. The issues of crime and disorder on the streets. The NYPD says the crime is going down in all major categories, most major categories, but to New Yorkers, they're still concerned with disorder and their own unique perception of crime. Do you think addressing quality of life concerns helps prevent more serious crimes, and how would you deploy the city's police force to deal with those serious violent crimes and also quality of life offenses like disorderly conduct and retail theft? Mr. Sliwa.
First off, I've been in all 350 neighborhoods. I'm the only candidate that's on the subway each and every day. I've yet to hear from one New Yorker who said they feel safer either in the subways or the streets.
I have been on the subway
Eric
and it is
Adams
completely
constantly heckling at us. Like,
I did it
it's
alone.
the perception. No, it's the reality of crime. We need
completely
7,000
safe.
police officers. We
I
are
walked New
badly
York alone,
understaffed. We need to
completely
get
safe.
police officers in the subways actually patrolling the moving cars where people are most threatened and most frightened. And we need to bring back the homeless outreach unit that was disbanded when de Blasio took $1 billion out of the budget. These were men and women police officers who already had with them medical nurses and healthcare practitioners, but it was de Blasio who abolished it, and they've been talking about bringing something back ever since, but they never do it. Because I'm out there in the subways every day and I never see it. And when I'm mayor, it gets done on day one. The homeless outreach unit is put back into the NYPD.
Thank you. Mr. Mamdani.
You know, when I hear from New Yorkers of where they feel least safe, they will often tell me the subway system. And when they explain those moments to me, what they are often explaining is a mental health crisis in our city and a crisis of homelessness that has only continued to grow. And that is why, at the heart of our public safety agenda, is a groundbreaking proposal to not only reduce crime, but address these very moments of unease for New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs by creating a Department of Community Safety that will be focused on the mental health crisis, focused on homelessness, and will ensure that police officers can focus on serious crimes. Because in 2020, the response time for those officers was less than 11 minutes. Today, it's closer to 16 minutes. And that's because every year, they are now responding to 200,000 mental health calls, when those are calls that could by and large be taken by experts trained on responding to that very crisis.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
The answer is always a new government agency. It's manage the system, manage the public safety system. We know how to do this. Mayor David Dinkins did it when we had a real crime problem. Hire more police officers.
No.
Of course, you have to deal with the mentally ill. Of course, that requires mental health specialists with police, because the situation can be dangerous. But hire the 5,000 more cops, because they're all quitting.
If there's a problem
because
now,
they're getting
hiring more
worked too
police is
hard.
obviously not
You're going to
fixing
have to
it.
raise the starting salary, because nobody wants to be a cop today, the way they're treated. Put 1,500 in the subways.
What?
Forget this Zoran idea of not prosecuting misdemeanors. Prosecute misdemeanors. Those are quality of life crimes. And that's very important. Yes, the subways are scary, but it's scary in their neighborhood too. Those quality of life crimes also have to be addressed.
Mr. Mamdani.
I just don't understand.
No matter how many times Andrew Cuomo describes it as my idea or my policy, I have never once stated that we were not going to prosecute misdemeanors. And that is what you see from the former governor, is someone who spends more time talking about the platforms of other organizations and other individuals than the one that I've actually put forward, or the one that he is supposed to be running on.
Now we'll hear from Brian for another question.
Excuse me 1 second. Can I just respond to that accusation?
I want to talk.
Misdemeanors are felonies. No cash bail releases them back into the streets. And both of you afford no cash bail.
I want to move on. You'll get your opportunities, I think, because I want to bring up a particular crime concern, and that is violence among younger New Yorkers, specifically teenagers. My question is, what is your stance on the statewide Raise the Age law, which increased the age of adult criminal responsibility from 16 years old to 18 for most crimes? Police Commissioner Tisch says, quote, "The mentality on the street is that nothing happens to those under 18 who possess a gun." So would you support modifying Raise the Age in any way? And Mr. Mamdani, since you just announced that you would invite Commissioner Tisch to stay on, would you go along with her on this?
I would not support changes to the state's legislation, and I would not support them because the major issue with the implementation of that legislation has been the fact that there is hundreds of millions of dollars that was supposed to be delivered alongside that law that is still languishing in Albany. And I am excited to be the next mayor of the city, to finally fight for the money that this city is owed, to ensure that we deliver it to our young people across the 5 boroughs.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, because what helps this kind of stuff
What I was
is
referring to
resources,
before is
after-school programs.
Zoran is a member of the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. They have a charter. He gives them 3% of his salary. He has said multiple times, "I'm a DSA member, I pledge allegiance." They say abolish jails, defund police, don't enforce misdemeanors. Go to my website, andrewcuomo.com. It's right on the front page.
Okay, but he has
now, is
said
he
none
lying
of
to
that.
the DSA? Is he lying to New York? Is he lying to everybody? Who knows? On the Raise the Age, I passed the law. I support the law. We were one of only 2 states that put 16 and 17-year-olds in adult prisons. It was inhumane. It was cruel and unusual, and I'm proud of that law. It's administered by local governments. Some are doing it better than others. If Zoran thought that there was money locked up in Albany, maybe he should have gone to Albany and proposed a bill to release it.
Support keeping the law. Mr. Slee.
Once again, the architect of Raise the Age, Governor Cuomo, the apprentice to him, Zoran. It's personal for me. My oldest son, Anthony, last October was the victim of a vicious gang assault that could have killed him. And what happened to these juveniles? Cut free, because they went to family court, not criminal court. So how can both of you look at me? I almost lost my oldest son to gang violence.
I feel bad for him. It's not that I don't feel bad for him.
It's just that, like, on the wrist and
they're minors. They're minors. I don't think that their whole entire lives should be completely ruined because they're minors.
Juveniles who commit violent crime in criminal court, and I'll appoint criminal court judges who follow the law and don't just release them because of no cash bail.
Clear difference between you on that. Miss Arrow, you pick it up.
Okay,
Clear difference.
candidates, I've got individual questions for you, and we're going to try and pick up the pace a little bit here. I'd like you to really just explain kind of where you're coming from. Mr. Mamdani, you've called for reorganizing the NYPD to create this Department of Community Safety that, among other things, would handle calls involving people in mental health distress. Your opponents have disparaged this as sending social workers rather than cops into dangerous situations like domestic violence disputes. Explain really what you have in mind, and please include any evidence that this approach would work.
Absolutely. What my opponents are clinging to is the past, because that's all that they know. What I am proposing is something that will address the needs of New Yorkers in the present. We speak and hear from New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs who outline how the mental health crisis is one of the major challenges in this city. And yet what we have in our city is asking those same police officers who are being asked to respond to shootings, respond to murders, to also respond to these calls. I trust the dispatchers who would be receiving these calls to make the determination as to whether there was any indication of violence. If there is no indication of a threat of violence, then we would set the mental health experts and providers to respond to those same incidents. The reason I believe in the efficacy of this approach is because of the fact that it has been delivered elsewhere in the country. So no matter how often you hear those on this stage tell you that something cannot be done, know that there are others in this same country who have seen it, and it is time for that same policy to come to New York City.
Okay, Mr. Shleee and Mr. Cuomo, I have a similar question for both of you. The department currently fields about 33,000 officers, down from 37,000 in 2018. Public safety budget approaching $10 billion. Mr. Shleee, you want to hire 7,000 more cops? Mr. Cuomo says 5,000 more cops. Each of you make the case for why you think that's necessary, especially given the fact that for much of New York City, crime declines over the last 20 years happened while the size of the force was also declining and not rising.
Wow. I have to revisit the last debate for a second when Zoran
it's almost like Zoran's
was basing
right.
this policy on what they do in
Crazy.
Eugene, Oregon. You've never been to Eugene, Oregon. I have. Are you out of your mind? And then Columbus, Ohio. This is New York City, a major metropolitan area with thousands of 911 calls, domestic abuse, emotionally disturbed persons, and you want to have social workers go out there and risk their life. De-escalate. And by the way, they're not going to get the results.
Cops don't know how to de-escalate situations.
That's why we
they escalate it typically.
7,000 new cops.
They end up killing the people
model,
that call them.
Now,
so many times.
They do it at Harvard University and the other
where they kill their
dogs.
dogs.
Will raise $1 billion, get them vetted, trained, and out into the streets so they can be seen in all the neighborhoods, and most importantly, do the job they were sworn to do. And I will make sure that their insurance, the qualified immunity that was stripped from them, the only civil servants who are not protected by the taxpayer, is returned so that they can freely go out and do what they were trained to do, is to protect all of the people of New York City.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo.
So then everyone's like, oh, Curtis Meanwhile, I get it, he's funny, but when he says shit like this, it really pisses me off.
We've had mentally ill, homeless people going back to the Billy Boggs case, right, under the Ed Koch administration. I ran homeless services not just for David Dinkins, but also for President Clinton. I've worked in every state, all the large cities.
Also
on
notice
all
that the communities with less policing that are not constantly policed
trying to bring
tend to be the ones that everyone thinks are safer.
It can be done with mental health workers and police workers. You cannot tell from a phone call if a person is going to be dangerous. And I have seen personally many times a person who seemed very calm and sedate explode into rage. Why? Because that's sometimes a symptom of mental illness. So there's nothing new here. It just has to be done and managed. Yes, you need more police. You need more police, first of all, Errol, because they're quitting because there are not enough to staff
Neither one of them answered the question.
The force.
Why do you think more police is going to help?
And weekends,
when we have decreased police and the crime has gone down.
Is destroyed. So
Neither
you
one
have
of
the
them
highest
answered the
attrition
question.
rate in modern history. You have to hire 5,000 just to slow down the attrition.
Okay, thank you, candidate.
40,000 beds for mental health in the state hospital system. By the time you fled fearing impeachment, you cut the budget down to 4,000 beds. Shame on you for putting those.
I do like when he goes after Cuomo, though. It is nice.
You don't know what you're telling. Well, there's one bet I'm going to say for you, but no one is saying about to go back to Willowbrook. That's when there were 40,000 people in mental institutions. Yeah. We left that 40 years ago when we went to community-based housing.
We're going to stay in this century, guys. Yeah. The next, well, We're going to do our lightning round where each candidate will answer our questions with a brief response, usually yes or no. I'm going to do the first couple. Candidates, if you had the power, would you keep, kill, or modify the congestion pricing program? Just say one of those words. Keep, kill, or modify. Mr.
One
Sleewa.
and done. Dead.
Mr. Mamdani.
Keep.
Keep.
Okay. Would you expand, decrease, or keep the same number of so-called safe injection sites for drug users in the city? Mr. Mamdani.
Can you say the options again?
Expand, decrease, or keep the same?
Keep the same.
Mr. Cuomo.
Keep.
Close them down.
Okay. The last two mayors proposed allocating 1% of the city budget for parks. Will you make the same pledge here tonight, Mr. Sleewa?
Add another 2%. Keep your hands off the parks, you greedy developers.
1%.
Mr. Cuomo. 1%. Okay.
2%.
Another lightning round question. The city recently enacted a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit for e-bikes. And of course, there are the other motorized two-wheelers that also frequently ignore red lights and other traffic laws. If you were mayor, would you direct the NYPD to ramp up speeding tickets and other moving violations on the motorized two-wheelers, Mr. Cuomo?
Yes. Look, this is a dangerous situation for many people.
Mr. Mamdani, yes or no?
I would actually build on the city council's progress in holding the apps accountable like DoorDash and Grubhub to ensure that there weren't incentives for breaking those street traffic
So you
laws.
would not increase ticketing the riders?
I do not think the police should be the ones dealing with the failures of these app companies.
Mr. Sleewa.
License them, register them, and yes, do enforcement on them.
All right. There is a ballot
He's going to militarize
question
everything.
to
It's really
align
insane.
mayoral election years with presidential election years in the future. Do you support this, Mr. Sleewa?
Absolutely not. All the attention would go to the presidential election, not to the mayoral election and all the down-ballot elections, all of our city council people.
That's a no, Mr. Mamdani.
I haven't yet taken a position on any of the ballot referendums.
Oh, shocker.
It's the same answer as
Again and again and again. Yes.
Oh, so he agrees with it.
Thank you so much. First question, do you support having a casino in the 5 boroughs, like it's a full casino?
No.
And do you have a favorite among the 3 current contenders? Mr. Sleewa.
No, only if the community wants it.
Mr. Mamdani.
I'm personally skeptical of casinos, but voters did choose to bring them to New York City. And unlike Andrew Cuomo and Donald Trump, I don't view the law as just a suggestion.
Do you have a favorite of the 3?
Come on.
No, I don't have favorites of casinos.
Mr. Cuomo.
I do not. I have not reviewed the proposals. I was not in. I did not vote.
It's not so hard to say.
I did. Let me just so you understand some facts. I did not vote to bring the casinos
said,
to
"Oh,
New
now
York
you don't
City.
have an
I
answer."
did casinos in upstate New York as economic development measures. I had no part of these 3 casinos, how they were done. I think it's highly problematic, and I think there's going to be a lot more to come.
If this was,
Boy, that
if this
sounds
was
like
a ranked
technology
choice, we
to
gotta
me.
get.
You and Zoran can't answer
Lightning
a
is
straight
fast.
question.
If there's a ranked choice election, how would you vote, Mr. Mamdani?
If there was a ranked choice election,
In this, you'd have to rank these.
myself number 1 and Curtis number 2.
Mr. Sleewa.
Oh, please don't be glazing me here, Zoran.
He's like glazing.
Are you kidding?
Mr. Sleewa, do you want to have an
I
answer?
support ranked choice voting, but I'd only vote for myself.
Mr. Cuomo.
Oh my God, that was great. That was wonderful.
I love that Zoran and Curtis ticket idea. I don't know. I'm just enamored with it. I would just rank myself.
Would any of you accept Mayor Adams' endorsement? Mr. Mamdani.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, I would.
Mr. Sleewa.
Absolutely not. Put that crook in jail where he belongs.
And final, a fun one.
So he would take Eric Adams' endorsement? Cuomo,
What is
of
your
course.
favorite live music venue in New York City, Mr. Sleewa?
Oh, chain smokers.
Under
EDM.
Under the K Bridge, I presume.
That's right, the
Live-
Kosciuszko Bridge.
Mr. Mamdani.
Forest Hill Stadium.
Mr. Cuomo.
Under the Kosciuszko Bridge.
Have you seen a show under the K Bridge? Who'd you see?
No, I picked up my daughters at a show there. That's as close as I got.
Candidates, it's time for the cross-examination round. That's where
That was
each
wonderful.
candidate
He hasn't
gets
even been
a chance
there. He
to
just
ask
said,
one
"Oh,
question
my
of
daughter
one
went," 'cause he
rival.
doesn't actually
The
live
order
in New
was selected
York.
at random. We're going to begin with Curtis Sleewa.
Zoran, you talk about
this is interesting.
free. But we know that somebody's got to pay for it, and that's you, the taxpayers. and that's going to lead to bankruptcy. The only reason that Zoran is on the stage is because of the failed Governor Cuomo, who was rejected by the Democrats in the primary and rejected by 13 women who charged you with sexual harassment. Do you ever know that no means no? You know what no means?
Your question is to Mr. Maldonado. Who was your question
We can bifurcate it, right?
What was your question again?
You can't. Who was your question
It's to Cuomo.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was to Zoran.
Your response, Mr. Cuomo.
What was the question?
I'm not sure what the man said, but
I'm honestly not either.
the situation, my legal situation, as we discussed before, was fully litigated. I was dropped from the cases. If anyone has a legal situation to talk about, I think it's Mr. Sliwa, who runs the Guardian Angels, and apparently as a charitable donation, but never filed any tax returns for the Guardian Angels, and has been accepting charitable donations, which is just a crime and tax fraud. So I think that's the person who I was explaining to do.
Okay, your turn to ask a question, Mr. Cuomo.
To Zoran, I believe, as we've stated, that you have been a divisive force in New York, and I believe that's toxic energy for New York. It's with the Jewish community, it's with the Italian-American community when you give the Columbus statue the finger. It's with the Sunni
Columbus
Muslims
again. Come
when
on.
you say decriminalize prostitution, which is haram. It's the Hindus.
It's haram. You're not a. He's saying, oh, you're not a good Muslim.
Take a picture with Rebecca Kadaga, Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda. You take a picture with your father. You're smiling. He's smiling. She's known as Rebecca Gay Killer Kadaga.
Oh, God.
You're a citizen of Uganda. You took the picture. You said you didn't know who she was. It turns out you did. How do you not renounce your citizenship or demand BDS against Uganda?
You gotta be effing kidding me right now.
Imprisoning people who are gay.
This is the most
just
insane thing.
by their sexual orientation. Isn't that a basic violation of human rights?
I think he gets the question.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
My politics is consistent, and my politics is built on a belief in human rights for all people. And that extends to queer and trans New Yorkers, and it extends to queer and trans Ugandans. And had I known that the first deputy minister was the architect of that legislation, I would not have taken that photo. And yet I also know that this constant attempt to smear and slander me is an attempt to also distract from the fact that, unlike myself, you do not actually have a platform or a set of policies to protect those same New Yorkers here. All you have are the insults that you have lobbed at every single opportunity you have.
You really think Cuomo's gonna stand up for trans people? There's no fucking way.
Cross-examination is just a question and answer.
Question and answer.
Your turn to ask a question.
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records.
He did.
She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
Go off. That is an amazing question. That was amazing. Amazing.
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature.
What?
There were allegations of sexual harassment. They were then went to 5 district attorneys, fully litigated for 4 years. The cases were dropped, right? You know that as a fact. So everything you just said was a misstatement, which we're accustomed to from you.
Stated was a misstatement?
Yes, because the cases were dropped. That's what happened. And my question to you, you still didn't answer, why won't you say BDS against Uganda for saying gays should be imprisoned for being gay? Okay. You have no problem with
like
BDS
against Israel, but Israel is committing a genocide and has violated the ceasefire.
One question, one
And now I'm
answer.
seeing
We all heard
freaking
it. Thank you very
Israel
much,
commercials on
candidates.
YouTube, which is
Our
insane,
next
by the
topic is
way.
education. The next mayor will oversee the largest school system in the United States, as you know, with roughly 900,000 students, thousands of schools, and billions of dollars in budget. We have an education question for each of you. Mr. Mamdani, you said you would give up mayoral control of schools and share decision-making with various stakeholders. But in the last debate, you said you're still for mayoral accountability for educational outcomes. This has confused some people about how you can give up final authority but still hold yourself accountable. Can you try to clarify that?
I remain opposed to mayoral control, and I also believe that the mayor is accountable for that which happens in this city. I will not shirk that accountability, even when we are putting together a system that has greater involvement for parents, for educators, for students. Look, 1 in 300 Americans is a student in the New York City public school system. This is a system where we are failing to deliver excellence to students, to teachers, to parents, and it is time to have a mayor who understands not only the crisis in front of us, but the fact that we have to change our ways if we want to change our results. And that is what we are running on, a plan for the future, not to simply relitigate the past.
Mr. Sliwa, you recently proposed reducing the education budget by $10 billion, or about 25%, to help pay for tax cuts. But your website includes things like, quote, hire more therapists, expand services for students with learning differences, build new vocational high schools, restore arts programs, expand athletic programs, and increase teacher pay to attract and retain top talent. Those are all exact quotes from your website. How do you defund the education department by 25% to cut taxes, add in the Trump administration's various cuts, and do all those expansions at the same time?
Well, let me tell you, you have a bureaucracy at the Tweed Courthouse. Perfect place to house the Department of Education because of the corruption in the top ranks. You have 13 deputy chancellors. You have about 50 department heads. Nobody at the school level ever deals with them. $41,000 we pay per student, and teachers still have to reach into their pockets to pay for basic supplies. You cut at the top, contracts that have been negotiated, that have not been overseen. You will save millions and millions of dollars. And yes, you open up the schools as it was when I went to public school, after school center, night center, weekend center, not just sports, but culture, plays, musicals. People used to be able to take instruments home when they were in band and orchestra. That attracted children. 1/3 of our children don't even come to school each day. And we need more vocational training like we had when I was growing up. That's been depleted. And more charter schools. We need to raise the cap and have more charter schools for the children who have been waiting to get in for years.
And Katie has an education question for Mr. Cuomo.
Thanks, Brian. Mr. Cuomo, there's currently a state law to reduce class sizes in the city. You recently described the law as, quote, reckless, and proposed that popular schools be exempted from this law. You also want to start closing low-performing schools, one of the most controversial policies of Mayor Bloomberg. Would you defy the class size law, and if you close existing schools rather than work to improve them, what specifically helps the kids learn more and where?
What are they going to do?
The common denominator on all these things is, the question is, what is your plan to change things, and what is your ability and experience to do it? These are management challenges, and I have managed large bureaucracies. The Department of Education, we lost 1 million students. What's happening is young families have to make a decision when their child has to go to school. They're deciding to go to the suburbs, go to Jersey. They're not going to sacrifice their kid. So it is a terrible problem for the entire city, the shrinking public school system. I would double the gifted and talented programs, double the number of specialized high schools, keep the SAT, and keep mayoral control. It is wholly inconsistent to say, I think it's a top priority, but I want to give up mayoral control But I want to be a mayor who runs grocery stores. Forget the grocery stores. Run the Department
Dude,
of Education.
you talked
It was
about
the
closing
most
schools that are not
single,
performing.
Instrumental reform.
That's not
Mayor
good.
Bloomberg was right. The mayor in Boston and Chicago don't give up mayoral control.
Would you defy the law, the class size law?
The problem with the class size law is a nice idea. The state didn't send the money. The state has not been doing its fair share for the city. If you have a nice idea, that's nice. Send the money.
And just a fact check, I don't think we lost 1 million students. We have just about under 1 million students in the DOE system. But just a quick show of hands.
I'm sorry, yes.
And just a show of hands, no talking. Who is in favor of the cell phone ban in schools? Raise your hands. Everyone has raised their hands. They all are in favor of the cell phone
I
ban.
don't
Thank
like
you.
it, but a lot of people do. I don't like
Candidates,
it.
I
I
want
don't
to talk
like
about
the ban.
Rikers Island. Under city law, the jail
lot of people
complex on
do, though. I don't
Rikers
know,
is
man.
supposed to close in 2027. That's something that the next mayor is going to have to navigate. The population, however, has only gone up. It's surpassing 7,000 detainees, and a judge this year put Rikers on a path toward federal receivership. So here's the question. As mayor, will you commit to the closure of Rikers Island as required? And if not, what is your alternative plan? We'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa.
Number one, the architect for the closing of Rikers Island is on this stage. That's former Governor Andrew Cuomo. He was the first, and his apprentice is Orhan Mandami. No, you keep Rikers Island open. There are 7 functioning buildings, 3 others that need to be rehabbed. You can move those who have mental health issues and give them the treatment they need as long as they're detained on Rikers Island. Some people do a year of time if they're given that in the courts rather than be shipped upstate. So there are a variety of inmates. We have allocated $8 billion for 4 community jails. The price tag is now up to $16 billion and will only house 4,000 of the 7,000. Guess what? We keep the inmates on Rikers Island and we turn those 4 units in the neighborhoods into affordable housing that we've all been clamoring for.
What about the law that requires the closing?
Oh, you go into court, you fight. You fight for the taxpayers and you fight to keep inmates on Rikers Island so that we don't just have to lock up toothpaste in New York City, but we lock
treatment
up
that they
inmates.
get is horrific.
Mr. Cuomo.
Olay has a lot of great videos. I think Olay has a great video on this. I watched it
Zoran
once.
has said he'd honor the law closing
Olay
Rikers
talks
in
about it a lot.
2027. You can't. You can't. Unless you intend to release all the people on Rikers Island, which is the Democratic Socialist policy.
Oh my
the county
God.
jails are not going to be built. It was a mistake. The whole plan was a mistake. They are years late, billions over budget. I would say scrap the county jails, build new jails on Rikers Island, provide ferry and bus transportation for people from the other boroughs to visit on Rikers Island, and then use the existing 4 sites for commercial residential. But you cannot close Rikers on 2027 because there's no place to put the people unless you're going to release 7,000 people.
Well, you're familiar with the idea that a law is passed, it's supposed to be followed, even if it's difficult, even if the timeline is screwed up, even if the money's not there.
I thought you were a good manager. You did management.
Which is Zoran's position. Then you're saying release the 7,000 people. And I'm saying I'm not going to release 7,000 criminals
So you're not going to
into New
manage
York
it.
City.
You're not going to manage it.
There is no one on this stage that is saying that. Yet Andrew Cuomo will repeat it again and again. What I have said time and again, I'll repeat it again, is that yes, we have to close Rikers Island.
Yes.
Rikers Island is a stain on the history of this city.
Yes.
And that this current administration has made it nearly impossible to do so by the stipulated timeline. So what I will do is everything in my power to try and meet that deadline, knowing that Eric Adams has made it so difficult because he's had no interest in actually following through on it. And as much as you will hear about experience and running a government, what Andrew Cuomo doesn't seem to understand is the city has already entered into contracts for these borough-based jails, and to end those contracts would be to incur massive fiscal penalties, but that's not something that he seems to care about, even as he speaks about the fiscal stewardship of this city.
You don't know how to manage things.
You want to talk to me about running government or managing projects? I built the 2nd Avenue subway. I built the Mario Cuomo Bridge, the largest infrastructure project in the United States of America, $5 billion on time, on budget. 2nd Avenue subway, Moynihan train hall. Of course there's costs incurred. The question is going to be, how much more does it cost to finish the jail, and are you better off cutting your losses? That's the question in the discussion, and you sit down with the contractor and you negotiate. But your position of, I'm going to close it on 2027, the question is yes or no? Do you close it in 2027? You still haven't answered.
You will hear from Andrew Cuomo about his experience as if the issue is that we don't know about it. The issue is that we have all experienced your experience. The issue is that we experienced you taking a $5 million book deal while you sent seniors to their deaths in nursing homes. The issue is that we experienced you cutting funding for the MTA to send money to upstate ski resorts. The issue is that we saw you give $959 million in tax breaks to Elon Musk. The issue is your experience.
No, the only thing, the issue is, the issue is you have no experience. You've accomplished nothing. You haven't proposed a bill on
I love the audience participation in this one.
haven't said if you're closed like this in
The audience didn't
2027.
participate as much
I
last
got the
time.
answer to the questions I was asking. Thanks very much. Let's move on.
My next question is about another law that's already on the books. The city has a climate law, Local Law 97, that will require a large percentage of the buildings in the city to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 40% by 2030 or face financial penalties. As you know, some co-ops, condos, and landlords are afraid of crushing expenses, but buildings account for 70% of the city's climate pollution emissions, so reduction would need to include that sector. You all have taken different positions on this. I want our viewers and listeners to hear each of you, starting with Mr. Cuomo in this case. Would you abide by and make others abide by Local Law 97 as it stands?
As it stands, as it stands,
Oh, look at
you're
someone who's not
going to
answering it
have
directly.
to be flexible in the application. What's going to happen now is many companies will just pay the fine because it's cheaper than actually following the rules. And that's the last thing you want. That accomplishes nothing, right? It's just another tax, in essence, on these units. So there's going to have to be flexibility. It's the right intent, it's the right goal, but how you implement it has to deal with reality and the costs. Again, otherwise, I can tell you, I've had this conversation with many of them. They're not even going to try. They're just going to pay the fine.
What kind of flexibility? If you could be
It's going to be
specific.
timing, and what do we mean,
But he's
and
not
can
really
it be
answering the
phased in?
Mr. Mamdani.
The climate crisis is one of the most pressing crises facing this city, and we deserve to take it on with the urgency it requires.
Yes.
It is right now easier to pay the fine than to actually comply with this legislation.
Yeah.
We have to ensure that we make it easier for condo and co-op owners to follow these laws, and we do that by eliminating the application fees for J51, by extending that tax credit, by also creating a one-stop shop in New York City government that procures at a large scale heat pumps and the very kind of infrastructure needed to comply. We've seen this happen before with clean energy work that's been done in Woodside houses. It's time to bring that kind of work right here so that we can ensure full compliance with Local Law 97.
I read that you're proposing the city buy those heat pumps and other tech in bulk and give them to landlords and other buildings for free. Is that accurate?
No, it's to actually ensure that they can afford the cost of these things by purchasing using an economy of scale.
Thank you. Mr. Sliwa.
I'm the only one on this stage totally opposed to Local 97. 100,000 condo and co-op owners. Their maintenance fees will go up 30%. They won't have enough reserve fees. You're going to see massive flight from the co-ops and condos. Now, they want to electrify everything. Well, there's a man on the stage who took Indian Point offline. That was 25% of our electrical output. We haven't been able to meet the need since. And as a result, they're now starting to build, because of the city of yes that I'm opposed, these lithium-ion battery warehouses. Where? Staten Island 38, Brooklyn 12. 8 in Queens, 4 in the Bronx, and none in Manhattan? Oh, no. They're going to electrify, and they don't have the electrical output. So I say no to Local 97. And when I'm mayor, I tell all my commissioners, throw a monkey wrench into the process. We slow it down because we want these condo owners and co-op owners to stay.
Mr. Cuomo, you were name-checked on Indian Point?
I think I was. Indian Point was a danger. It was the nuclear power plant most closely located to the densest population. There was no nuclear plant on the globe that close to a city. There were 20 million people in what was called the kill zone. Before I became Attorney General, there had been a number of lawsuits to stop it. What we did is we brought cables down from upstate New York down the Hudson River. We have nuclear upstate. We're in rural areas to bring that nuclear power down the cables, and then on that basis substitute for Indian Point's power.
Yes or no?
Electricity rates are too high to pay because of you, Andrew Cuomo.
Yes or no?
Look, you
Would
know
any
what
of
you're
you
talking
support new nuclear power plants to help bring down the rising cost of utilities in New York State? Just yes or no, Mr. Sliwa?
Upstate, they're already starting, yes.
Mr. Mondani?
I think it's something worth exploring.
Mr. Cuomo?
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Katie?
I have mixed feelings.
We're going to
about
move on
nuclear.
now to the economy. Donnie, you're proposing to raise the city's minimum
So many
wage to
mixed feelings.
$30 an hour by 2030. How would you get the state legislature to go along with your plan? And do you think it's realistic to feel that a small business owner would have to pay every employee this amount, especially when the city currently doesn't mandate that figure for its own public employees? And I have separate questions for Mr. Sliwa and Mr. Cuomo.
So this would be something where the city would have to start doing so as well, because any law that we want New Yorkers to follow, the city should be following it itself. And the reason that we put forward $30 by 2030 is that that's the minimum that a New Yorker needs to be paid to be able to afford to live in this city.
Yeah,
and what
that's
we
the
are
craziest
looking
part
at
about all
right now
this.
is the possibility of the place that we know and love
Everyone's like,
becoming
oh,
a museum of where working class people
things are really bad,
used to
no
be
one can
able to
afford
live.
things, but we can't
Our
up
proposal that
your
we've put
payments.
forward would be phased in over a longer period of time for
You
small
can't up your
business owners
salary.
to ensure that they could deal with this. And it's also one that we are confident we would be able to accomplish because of the fact that we are seeing from New Yorkers time and time again, the absence of it is pushing them to live in Jersey City, to live in Pennsylvania, to live in Connecticut, because they can't afford to live in New York City.
Thank you. And for Mr. Sliwa and Mr. Cuomo, if you're not in favor of a $30 minimum wage, what are your plans to raise the salaries of workers in New York City? We'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa.
First off, Zoran Mandami deals with fantasy, not reality. Look at all the Uber drivers. Look at all the taxi drivers, the Lyft drivers. They will now have driverless cars. That's what they're pushing. AI that's going to be wiping out so many jobs, especially for young men and women who went to school, got their 4 years of college, 2-year degree, and they're making $155,000, and then they get wiped out. You know what the corporate sector is going to do. They're going to bring in robotics. Zoran, stop dealing with fantasy and start dealing with reality. You're pushing businesses out because you want to tax them. I'm the only one here who wants to cut the corporate taxes, the income
What
tax,
does
the
that have to
property
do with
tax we can cut in order to
salaries?
keep business here. But if you raise the minimum wage too high, they're going to end up going in a different direction, and they're not going to hire workers.
I don't
It's
even
going to
know
be
if $30
robots
is enough
and
to live
driverless
at
cars
this point.
and AI, and I'm opposed to that.
It's so wild.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
The cost of living is so high, and yet every time you want to talk about minimum
I
wage,
have to
everyone's
agree
like, oh,
with
no.
Curtis.
said I
There
hate to agree
is,
with Curtis. Okay.
Zoran does have socialist theory colliding with practical reality.
Christ.
I went through this.
Okay, I'm
We
gonna take
raised
that
the
as a
minimum
thing.
wage to the highest in the United
They go
States
against
of
him and call
America.
him
New
socialist.
York set the bar. We set it at $15. Every other state said, that's crazy when we did it. People in the state said that was crazy when we did it. But it was calibrated. It was doable. We phased it in different parts of the state. We phased it in with small businesses. We gave them assistance. Because if you raise it too high, and I believe 30 is too high, I would raise it to 20. If you raise it to too high, you do two things. People lose their jobs. You bankrupt businesses. You're talking about basically doubling payroll. And you can have a negative effect where literally businesses close and people lose their jobs. And overall, again, it's another tax on corporations, another reason to leave New York, another reason to pack up the family and get on I-95 and go to South Carolina and Florida and Texas.
Okay, sure.
All right. Candidates, we are coming down the home stretch. I want to alert our media partners, especially we're going to go over by 5 minutes, and we're going to have Brian lead a conversation about transit.
Correct,
Right, and we're going to have to do this briefly to each of you, because you each have transit things to answer to. Mr. Cuomo, you say the city should take partial control of New York City Transit away from the MTA, which is mostly controlled by the state. Would the city then have to foot more of the bill? And if this is a good idea, why didn't you propose it as governor?
The capital, first of all, New York City owns the New York City Transit Authority, not the MTA. It leases the trains and subways to the MTA. And then the question is the division of responsibility. New York City does the safety along with the MTA. The problem the MTA is having is the capital construction projects. It has been an ongoing problem. I came in, I took over Moynihan and finished it. I came in and took over 2nd Avenue Subway, the L train tunnel. The capital construction projects are way overdue.
Would it fall more on the city to pay?
I would say, no, there is a budget set. My only point is the MTA, which is a labyrinth bureaucracy set up by Rockefeller, which should have never been done in the first place. It's an overwhelming task for the greatest managers, and I hired both of them. But let the city manage the capital construction from the MTA budget.
Mr. Mamdani, make your case briefly for your proposal for free buses for everybody, even those who can afford to pay.
You know, first, I'll just say that one of the most celebrated leaders of the New York City Transit was Andy Byford, who had such a terrible experience working under Andrew Cuomo that he would rather work under Donald Trump right now. The proposal that we have put forward addresses the fact that today, in the wealthiest city, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, 1 in 5 New Yorkers cannot afford the bus fare.
Yes.
It would cost $700 million a year to make the slowest buses in the country fast and free. And by doing so, we would generate more than double in economic revenue for New Yorkers across the city. It would be something that would reduce assaults on bus drivers, it would increase ridership on those buses, and it would actually have environmental impacts, as fewer New Yorkers would drive their own car or take a taxi and would instead get on the bus. And I know all of this because I delivered it as a state assembly member who won the first free buses in New York City's history.
And Mr. Sliwa, your website, according to my reading, has a section on transit safety, but nothing on transit service. Do you have any core proposals for improving it?
Oh, sure. First off, Zoran, I get a good belly laugh.
Zoran, bro.
Oh, all right. I'll keep practicing.
I got you.
I get a good belly laugh every time I hear you say free fare in the subways. Half the people don't pay anyway. How about fair enforcement? I'm the only one who says we have all kinds of fare programs for the indigent and the poor. But if you don't pay your fare, there needs to be enforcement. And by the way, I've taken the subway almost every day of my life since I was 5.
They just want to militarize everything.
The worst time was
it's
the
really
summer
ridiculous.
of 2017, the summer of hell, Andrew Cuomo, when you were running the subway system as the head of the MTA. I don't trust you with anything to do with mass transit.
How would you make it better?
Oh, very simply. Everybody pays their fare, enforcement, more cops in the subway system. And by the way, we can get more people to voluntarily actually sponsor their subway system stations, clean it up, and beautify them, and add some life so the community has input into the subway that they have to go through the sleaze and slime all the time.
When I went in this place,
All right,
that's not
candidates, we've
what
got
I
just a couple of
experienced
minutes.
in
Let's
New
have
York.
another quick lightning round
There was
where
tons
each
of culture.
candidate will
There
answer
were
my
stores,
questions
there
with
were
a
people
quick
performing.
response,
It was really
usually yes
cool.
or
There's
no.
art.
Name one person you'd like to see run for president in 2028, Mr. Sliwa.
Wow, in
These are weird
2028. Man, I'm dealing right now with 2025.
Mr. Mamdani.
My only focus is on November.
Mr. Cuomo.
I haven't thought it through.
Okay. We have a city of hundreds of languages and cultures. Can you greet New Yorkers in a language other than your own, Mr. Cuomo?
Ciao. Buenos dias.
Ni hao the pangyo.
Okay.
Buona fortuna per cendeane.
Okay. Have you decided on a school's chancellor, Mr. Sliwa?
Yes, I would ask Bob
Weird-ass
Holden,
question.
who's taught 40 years. He leads
It's like
Democrats
the
for
parade
Sliwa.
question all over.
Mr. Mamdani.
No, I haven't decided on a chancellor as yet.
Okay. Should people be arrested for the solicitation of sex, Mr. Sliwa?
Here we go.
No, the
we go.
Johns, yes, the pimps, the madams, and the absentee landlords.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Zoran's decriminalization
Ooh,
for
you don't answer.
prostitutes, johns, and pimps would be a disaster on the quality of life in
They
New
should be
York
arrested,
City.
you say? Should people be arrested for soliciting sex?
It is a criminal
So you're
offense.
gonna
I'll
say
keep
yes.
it as it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Last question. Can you name one thing that New York
He's
got
going hard
right
on
during the
Zoran for
COVID
that.
crisis? Mr. Sliwa.
New York got right. Oh, wow. He didn't get anything right during the COVID crisis. No.
Mr. Mamdani.
It only took me 15 minutes to get my vaccine shot when I went for that, and that was an efficient experience.
Mr. Cuomo.
Thank you for the compliment.
That was a city-run vaccine.
All
site.
right.
No,
Yeah,
it
city
wasn't.
run. Thank you. You're not in government anymore.
Thanks so much, gentlemen. That is going to do
You still
it
have to learn, son.
for this debate. I would like to thank the
Oh my God,
candidates
that was
and our
insane.
partners and all of you at home. If you missed any part of this debate, you can watch it in its entirety at ny1.com and the Spectrum News YouTube channel. Early voting is set to begin across the 5 boroughs on Saturday, with several other races on the ballot as well.
Yeah, there's like a week left. Okay, so that was insane. Okay, so what did you say? I'm just amazed that the Republican is the second best choice here. Yeah, no, that's what we were laughing about that earlier because it's so funny because everyone's like, oh my God, Curtis Lewa, he's so amazing. Like, he's funny, he's hilarious, which he is. But the problem is he'll be, he'll say some populist shit here and there, right? And then all of a sudden he goes, well, we need to stop helping out these migrants. And you're like, okay, so you're just racist. All right. And there's the racism. You're just like, okay. It's like, it's so crazy. So that was the last 6 minutes. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I watched it. I was live reacting because I was really excited to watch it live because I wasn't able to last week. Also, I think it's funny that they have them so close together. But I think, so the election is on the 4th, which is like a week and a half away. So, very exciting, very exciting. The debate was good. The part that really just drives me crazy every single time is every single time they talk about Israel-Palestine, I get very frustrated. And at least this time, Zoran was able to be like, I'm the only one that you keep saying that I support global jihad and all this other kind of stuff. But I've never said that. And the simple fact that he's Muslim is the reason you guys are saying that. The simple fact that he's Muslim and pro-Palestine is why you are saying things like he supports this. It's so insane. Meaning I was watching an anime 8 minutes ago. Oh. Yeah, it was good. I don't really know what... I don't feel like anybody learned anything new. I think that Zoran's question to Cuomo about his sexual harassment was really good. He has harassed women. He has been going after them. Just like he said, he went after their gynecological reports and sued them for defamation, and so they can't talk. And it's really disgusting how much Cuomo has gone after his victims. And he keeps doing it over and over again, and he keeps lying and say, oh, everything, just allegations. And so I'm happy that he kind of honed in on that, because I feel like there's so many libs, just because they don't like Zoran, just because he's pro-Palestine and a democratic socialist, that are willing to go with a sexual harasser instead of Zoran, which is so psychotic to me. How many Democrats are willing to do that and then still want to be like, but Zoran's so divisive. Okay, sure, man, sure. It's honestly insane. Nuclear. The other thing that they were talking about is nuclear. So, God, this really has nothing to do with the debate. This is just a me thing. But I have like such mixed feelings about nuclear, and that's just because since I live, I am in Missouri, and Missouri and Illinois have had a lot of problems with those nuclear plants poisoning our water, getting into our waterways and getting into things. And so I have a lot of skepticism when it comes to that, although I know it is one of the more popular avenues for instead of gas. And so I'm well aware of that, and I think that's why Zoran was like, oh, we can look into it. I think it's a promising thing, but we also need to figure out how to how this is going to affect our waterways and stuff like that. Because what happens is, I forgot what it was. It was like new designs are more safe. Okay, then that's what it might be, because I will say some of the older, all of this is from older stuff. Like they buried stuff underground. I don't know. Someone in my friend's fencing coach was talking to me about this, because he lives in Illinois, and he was saying that everyone in his family got cancer, and it's because it's seeped into their waterways, it's in the ground, and so I just get very nervous. But yeah, you're right, the new designs are probably more safe. We just need to have a solution for that, because I'm very nervous about that, I will say. Cory Bush just got money for those families in Missouri that suffered from that. And so, yeah. Carter cut the nuclear program. Okay. I think our solar, wind, and water options would be sufficient if we actually invested in them the way China did. Yeah, honestly, because they're leading it in. At this point, we're just going to be so... God, I have so China is leading in those things because they actually invest in it. And I'm not saying China's perfect, but they actually invest in it, and they actually want that for their society. Here in America, we're going to be so behind the rest of the world. It's actually kind of crazy how much we want to compete against China, and how much we've been wanting to compete against China as a nation for so long. And yet we're doing everything to help them be better than us. Everything Trump is doing is helping them and hurting us. So it's really insane that we look at it, that we look at this as we just need more gas. We need more gas and we'll be great. And it's that is a finite resource, my friend. It is a finite resource, and it is destroying our planet. And just in the sake of economics, you want to sit here and you want to be like, oh, China bad, we need to be better than them. But we're not willing to invest in our infrastructure. We're not willing to invest in our communities. And they do that. We don't. So how are we supposed to compete with them when we could give a fuck about communities and could give a fuck about how people live and could give a fuck about renewable energy, when they're going to be the leading developer of those things? Anyway, we could have terraformed the Sahara instead of wasting all that money in Afghanistan and Iraq, honestly. Okay, let's see. What other thoughts do I have about the debate? I don't know. I think Curtis Lewa, of course, he has no chance, and everyone's been asking him to drop out, and he's not going to drop out. Of course, he's not going to drop out. And something he actually said the other day, which I think is really interesting, and I think is so true, is he was asked, he was like, how come you won't drop out? And he's like, it's funny that everyone thinks that if I drop out, that the people who are going to vote for me are just suddenly going to vote for Andrew Cuomo. That's not true. People don't like Andrew Cuomo. And so if you think that Sliwa supporters are just going to automatically overnight become Cuomo supporters, you're delusional. And that's essentially what he said. And I think he's right. Because a lot of the people, like, I think most people don't really like Cuomo. I think the people that are voting for Cuomo are like libs or centrists that are just so scared of like the socialism. He's communist, he's socialist, like, and they've bought into the Red Scare. And so instead of seeing how horrible Cuomo is, how horrible his track record is, they're like, well, he's better than a socialist, because a lot of libs and centrists are just Republicans. Just Republican lights. Oh man. So yes, okay. All right. Something else that I wanted to show you is actually, let's see. So something they talked about in this debate was actually, if you like, they're always saying this to Zoran, like if you raise taxes, if you do all these different things, all of these businesses are going to leave. They're going to leave New York and they're never going to come back. They're going to go to Florida, Texas, whatever. Funny enough, that's typically not true. And a lot of people who move to Texas, and that whole, like, everyone's like, oh, everyone's moving away from California to Texas. A lot of people are moving back and they don't really like living in Texas. So there's a reason people live in blue states. There's a reason people live in places like New York, because they tend to be better run than red states, because in red states, I feel like they're just not run at all. Like, they just don't care. They just don't care about anyone or anything. And so a lot of people are actually leaving Texas now because they don't like living there. All right, so let's watch this, because Andrew Schultz actually has a great take on this, which is something I never thought I would say. Something I never thought I would say. I hate Andrew Schultz, just to be clear. But we're going to talk about it because it's quite funny. Okay, let me
that way. I'm in the tax bracket where you're going to tax more. Like, dude, if you're going to deliver all this shit for 2%, give it. I'm 100% supportive if it makes life easier for New Yorkers. This is my one identity in my entire life is a New Yorker. It's the thing I care the most about. But I think that there are going to be people in government that are going to try to restrict you from doing that. And I know that you're aware of that. What the fuck do you do when special interest groups are going to be lobbying like crazy?
I mean, you have
How do you do that?
You have to be ready to take on these fights. There is a reason why we haven't had progress. There are people making money off the status quo.
Yes. And that's why I think this is so important, because people like Cuomo are getting money from the same developers, the same millionaires, the same billionaires who want to go against this, who want to go against these things. So it's not that it can't be done. It's that he's getting paid to say it can't be done. He is getting paid to say that we shouldn't do this. This isn't feasible. And that's just not true. People are not going to leave if you have a better quality of life. You want a better quality of life? You know, again, I've been on the subways in New York, and of course I've just gone, you know, when I visited, I don't live there. I would love to live there one day. That is my goal in life. It's my goal in life. But I went on the subways. I went alone. I walked through the streets of New York alone. And I will say that I did not feel unsafe at all. It was very safe to me. I felt very safe. Okay. And I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I live in St. Louis and because I've taken the bus and the metros in St. Louis and I've actually had like my wallet stolen and stuff like that. And even when I went on those buses and metros, like, I didn't feel like unsafe. And I don't know if it's just because like I have that background and so I'm not super like, I just don't automatically think of transit as unsafe, public transit as unsafe. I just don't think that way because I've taken it before. But like public transit is only going to be better if it is free. It is only going to enhance everyone's way of life. It is going to enhance them. And it's wild that we keep being like, oh, well, it just can't happen. We can just never do it. It's not good, or whatever repercussions that they think are going to come. Literally, most countries do this. Majority of countries have free transit. The fact that we don't in the United States is a travesty. It is a travesty. It is insane, and it just shows how much America has never given a shit about its citizens, doesn't care about communities, and like we just don't care in this country about our citizens, about our communities. We care about capital and businesses and corporations more. And so instead of enhancing people's way of life by having buses that are free. I think the Metrolink should be free, but I don't know if you can do that. Or the Metro there. It's called the Metrolink here. I don't really, the MTA or whatever. You know, the subway. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I think those should be free too, but I don't know if he has control over that. But I think all public transit should be free. I think we should invest in public transit, and this would help. It would help with the climate. It would help with people's way of life. It would help with communities. It would help with deaths in car accidents or injuries when it comes to car accidents. It would help in so many different ways, but because we're so beholden to all these different corporations, because we're so beholden to all these different millionaires and billionaires in our country, we don't do it, and we never have, and we never made public transit a priority. And it's really, honestly, I will say, if there's one thing that I just get very upset about, is not having public transit. It drives me crazy. I hate that we don't have public transit. It's actually I just think it shows how much of I don't know, I just feels like it shows that our nation has never been we always say that we're the world power, which I guess we are, and we're the best country in the world or whatever. Everyone thinks that we're the best country in the world, but we're not. How can we say we're the best country in the world when we don't even have we barely have public transit, and every other comparable nation has public transit that goes, in Europe, it goes between different countries. I mean, it's just we'll watch the whole thing, but I know I'm going on a tangent, but I actually there's someone that I met. I don't know them very well, but there's someone that I met at this vegan fair thing a while ago. And when I first met her, me and my other friend were talking about how we hate having cars and that we just wish that there was more public transit. And that's what we were talking about. And the one girl was saying why I love my car. It's a sign of freedom. It gives me my face and space. And that's what we've been propagandized here in this country, is that our cars, having a car means freedom. That our cars, it means we're free to go and do whatever we want, right? That's the propaganda we've been sold. And it's funny because I saw her again a week or two ago, and she told me, she said, I just went to Europe. And she's like, I have to tell you, I was wrong. You were right about public transit. She was like, it was amazing. It was easy. I could go anywhere I wanted. And it was really nice. And she's like, so I totally get what you're saying now. And if we had public transit here, I would save money on all the car expenses. And I was like, oh my gosh, exactly. And it's so funny because when you live in America, you're sold that propaganda. You're sold that you having your car is freedom and you need to have a car for freedom and da-da-da-da. But really, it's not freedom. It's holding us down. Places like Nashville, where you have to be in traffic for hours. Somewhere that takes you 30 minutes will take you hours to get there because of the traffic, and because instead of doing anything about their overpopulation or about their infrastructure, they just add lanes to the highways and make it even more confusing. And I don't think that helps when it comes to car crashes. And so instead of actually having comparable public transit, we're like, let's just make more lanes on the highway. Let's just make this whole endeavor more unsafe. And so it's not freedom. It's not freedom when you're stuck in traffic for 2 hours just to get somewhere. It's not freedom when you have to pay your car note, you have to pay insurance, and you have to pay for gas. And in Missouri, personal property tax. That's not freedom. Freedom is being able to go on a public transit, to go wherever you want, whenever you want, without having to sit in traffic, without having to pay all this money every month. And it's ridiculous how much we've been propagandized in this country to think that cars are the best solution. Whereas if you just go to any other country, you will see that public transit is like so important, and it's just like, and it's like the minimum foundation of what they of the things that they have for their communities and for their citizens. And so I don't know, I could go on public transit for years. I really could. Man, let me tell you, going to New York and using the subway really just like, it enlightened something in me. Like, I already wanted public transit before, but like it just like enlightened something in me of like, wow, this is really easy. I can go wherever I want and it doesn't matter. And like, I'm not, I wouldn't be spending $500 or more on like car and insurance every month. This is crazy. And I think if you haven't experienced that, then you tend to think, oh, well, my car is why I can go everywhere. And you don't think about how public transit is so helpful and is faster. Okay. We're going to watch the whole thing.
Okay, but so I don't think anybody's moving, and I honestly feel that way. I'm in the tax bracket. We're going to tax more. Like, dude, if you're going to deliver all this shit for 2%, give it. I'm 100% supportive if it makes life easier for New Yorkers. This is my one identity in my entire life is a New Yorker. It's the thing I care the most about. But I think that there are going to be people in government that are going to try to restrict you from doing that. And I know that you're aware of that. What the fuck do you do when special interest groups are going to be lobbying like crazy?
I mean, you have
How
to,
do you do that?
You have to be ready to take on these fights. There is a reason why we haven't had progress. There are people making money off the status quo. And so there will be a lot of interest in retaining that status quo.
Yeah.
Right now, the city of New York will pay McKinsey a few $1 million to design a trash can. McKinsey's not going to be happy when I say we don't need you to design that anymore.
Right,
we can
right.
actually design that ourselves. You're right that we're going to have to transform the inner workings of government.
Yeah.
And that means ending a patronage politics. There
Yeah.
are a lot of people who have jobs more to do with who they know than what they do.
Okay, but so
Yes, I think that was a perfect answer. I think that was a really great answer. I'm not a fan of Andrew Schultz, honestly. I think I just hate him. But I mean, whatever. I guess I don't hate him. I don't know. I don't know him. But him and all the other podcast bros really frustrate me because we were supposed to be taking them so seriously. TYT was like, maybe we shouldn't call them podcast bros anymore. Bro, they know nothing. They know nothing of what they're talking about, okay? Now, are there things that I don't know what I'm talking about? Sure. Yes, I understand. But this is like this shit is stuff that I listen to and read about, and like this, like I'm very interested in politics. I'm very interested in history. Do I know everything? No, but am I interested in is this what I live and breathe and just like think about and listen to and consume every day? Yes, probably on an unhealthy level. But the problem is people like Andrew Schultz, people like Theo Vaughn, all these people, they have no idea what they're talking about. And so we were supposed to take them so seriously during the election that everyone's like, oh, they were like the deciding vote. They're the reason Trump did so well, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they were. I don't know. But we were supposed to take them so seriously. We were supposed to not call them podcast bros anymore. We were supposed to be like, well, maybe they have a point. We have to listen to them. And now these same people, when they see those same policies that they sit here and they were like, no, yeah, we need mass deportation, da 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 da. When they were sitting here talking about that, consenting on that, wanting that, and then when they see it play out in real life, they're like, oh, that's not what I voted for. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. And now they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll talk to, like, I just get, like, and I'm happy that Zoran's going on there. I'm happy that, like, Dems and, like, and Libs and stuff are going on there now. That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. I do it because you're right. They have the attention. You're right. But it just gets very frustrating that, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just, like, very frustrated that up until the election, even after the election, people like TYT and all these different people were like, we need to take them seriously. We need to listen to them. Do we? Because obviously they didn't know what they were talking about. Obviously they didn't understand what mass deportation meant. Obviously when people told them what mass deportation meant, they didn't want to believe it. And so it's like, I just, and now that shit's hitting the fan and it's not popular, now they want to be like, oh, I didn't mean that. And so I just hate that, like, that was the discourse for so long, that we have to pay attention to them. We have to get them on our side, where it's like, no, we don't. And now they're on our side somewhat, kind of, until people change their minds again, until the masses change their minds again, then they'll change their minds too. And it's just like they don't have actual policies. They don't have actual, like, beliefs around this stuff. They're just kind of going with the flow. But nevertheless, I think it's good that Zoran went on there. I think it's good that he's explaining all of that. I don't like Pete Buttigieg, but Pete Buttigieg went on there and did a really good job. So, I mean, I think it's good. Hopefully their audience listens. I don't know. But yeah, we must speak to the need of their public. Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's good. I guess I hate that, I guess my whole gripe about it is that for so long, we just had to take them so seriously, like they actually had any policy concerns or knowledge about policy, and they don't. And so it's very frustrating that, we had to take them as just, I don't know. I guess that's what's frustrating, I guess. Okay, so let's see. I'm actually we're gonna watch Cuomo's new AI video, because that's all he's been doing for the past, that's been his campaign recently, is making AI videos. Funny how he keeps saying he can stand up to Trump and he's different than Trump, but then he's using the same tactics as Trump. Interesting to say the least. They can only be right accidentally because they aren't trying to think about these issues seriously. You can take the issue seriously without taking them seriously. Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that's what I'm trying to say is, I guess, and it's the mass deportation part of it, I think, that frustrates me so much, because for so long, when Donald Trump was saying mass deportation, a lot of people on the left, the Dems, everyone was like, this is Nazi shit. Okay, this is Nazi shit. Mass deportation is Nazi shit. And everyone, the podcast bros, all these other people were like, no, it's not. You can't just say it's Nazi shit. Oh, you can't just say that. I mean, if they're here illegally, da-da-da-da-da. And he's not going to do that. He's not going to go after immigrants like that. He's just going to go after criminals. And that's what we heard for months on end, right? And now that it's turning out exactly as everyone said, they're like, oh, well, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't want that to happen. And it's like, okay, but everyone told you this was going to happen. Everyone said that this was going to happen, and you didn't believe it. And you didn't care. You didn't care to look into it. You didn't care to think about it. You didn't care to think what mass deportation meant. I feel like it's pretty clear. I feel like it's pretty obvious on its face, but you have a platform. You have a responsibility, and you didn't care to take that responsibility seriously. And so now immigrant families are being brutalized, and I'm not saying it's their fault, because I'm not saying it's their fault, but I'm just saying, it is frustrating that for so long they didn't take it seriously, and now they're like, oh shit, he really did mean mass deportation. I don't know. That's just a gripe I've had with them for a very long time. So yeah. That's just my gripe at this point, I gotta say. All right, so we are gonna watch this video because it's hilarious. Okay, so something that Andrew Cuomo has been saying recently is that Zoran is a mini de Blasio, okay? And so that's the excuse that's the comeback he's been using for the past few debates. That's what he's been saying for a while now. And excuse me. And so he made an AI video calling that out because he's insane. This is insane. And I don't understand, doesn't he have there's this guy, and I'm pretty sure he's a Republican, that he's a conservative, and he's the one running Cuomo's social media strategy. And I don't understand how he thinks this is gonna work. Like, I don't get it. Like, people already don't like him, and using AI videos for your campaign, I think, doesn't make people like you anymore. Isn't de Blasio the best mayor of the century anyway? Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how New Yorkers feel, but like they were saying, he did do freeze the run, and he did do a lot of good things. And so I do think that it's silly that he's using this. But I mean, he is. I don't know. It's kind of insane, honestly. Okay, so let's watch this because Cuomo has lost his damn mind. I swear to God. He's lost his damn mind. Okay, so this is the video, and it's quite crazy. Okay. I just don't understand this. Okay.
It's me, de Blasio. You know, New York City's least favorite mayor. Today, I want to introduce you to my mini-me mom, Donnie. Hiya! If you thought my policies were evil, you're gonna frickin' hate this. Sure will, boss! In 2020, I cut $1 billion from the NYPD, which dramatically spiked crime. But I wanted to fund the police entirely! So evil, so unsafe. My mini-me also wants to cut gifted and talented school programs for kids, just like I tried. Until the backlash. There's no such thing as talent. Socialism means we're all equally dumb. Right. And he's even copying my failed rent freeze I tried on millions of units, which ended up plunging the rates of available units and making the housing crunch higher and stop new housing construction, which would actually lower rents. But I'm gonna do the same thing while doing a TikTok dance. And most evil of all, I depoliced sex work, which ended up increasing sex trafficking for women and young girls in New York City. So I'm gonna take it further by decriminalizing prostitution completely.
This shit's insane. Like, that was insane. That was psychotic. And it's so funny because someone right here says, and now he's desperate. This is like it's so insane. It's so insane. This is so insane. I don't understand who decided to do this. You know, he's always like, oh yeah, he's talking about Zoran, and he's like, oh, your little TikTok videos. Bro, you're making AI videos. You know, at least Zoran has creativity, and he makes it himself, and he does everything himself. Well, not himself. I mean, he has people who work for him, but like, they're not using AI. Like, they're actually making these videos, and they're actually putting a lot of effort and thought into these videos, right? You're making this crazy ass AI video that is just weird, 1, cringe, 2, and it doesn't make you look good. Like, it doesn't make you look good. It makes you look insane. It makes, like, you're not talking about anything you're going to do. And that's another thing that Zoran said in the debate. Cuomo's not talking about his policy positions. He's not trying to promote his policy positions. He's not trying to do anything. He's just over here saying, Zoran bad, Zoran bad, Zoran bad. And he doesn't have any kind of policy positions. Typical Democrat at this point, right? This person bad, don't listen to my policy positions. But that's what Cuomo's doing. And he's not talking about what he would do. He's just saying that Zoran is bad. And that's all he's been doing. And so that's what this video does. And in a really weird and creepy way. Like, it's just weird. This sucks. Yes, I like the globe. It's so stupid. It's just so stupid. And like, why you would use AI for your campaign is, and the funny thing is like, when he was first running during the primary, he barely put in any effort at all. He put in 0 effort. And so in the general, this is him putting in effort, making an AI video, making them Mr. Evil or whatever the hell. It's Mr. Evil, right? I actually love Austin Powers, so I don't know why I kid Dr. Evil. I'm sorry. I'm like, I actually really love Austin Powers, so I don't know why I couldn't think of it. But it's just like, this is him actually putting an effort. Like, this is him putting an effort, which is so sad. which is so sad. Is de Blasio still dating Naomi Const? I don't know. Isn't that girl who like was kind of, I don't know, wasn't she the one who was like on Majority Report sometimes, and now she's not on anymore because when she ran for something, and when she ran, she was kind of like not great. Mini me is a high level concept. Oh my god. So high level, just so high level. Like he's really putting in the work, man. Oh my god, that's funny. Yes. Yeah. I think they are still dating, actually. I think they might still be dating. I'm not sure, but I do remember there was like drama, because I remember she was running for something, and then the Majority Report interviewed her, and then I remember like a couple weeks later she had a stance on something, and Emma was like, yeah, I am not comfortable with her stance on that. And then they kind of haven't had her on anymore. And I don't remember what I don't remember what it was about, but that's all I remember. That's all I remember of it. Speaking of people, oh my god. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. That was very, very loud. Okay, oh my god. I'm just like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to find these. Okay, so there's a couple things going on right now in New York, and so we're actually going to talk about what I was just going to talk about. She was boring. Oh, okay, Naomi. I just remember, I don't know. I just remember Emma not being comfortable like endorsing her anymore or whatever. And I don't remember what it was about. Okay, so speaking of people who were trying to help Cuomo, what's her face? This lady, oh God, okay. This is going to be so funny. So did I not save it? Oh no. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait. I didn't. Oh, here we go. Okay, so there's this thing called Hot Girls for Zoran, and
today I'm officially starting Hot Girls for Cuomo.
And Emily Austin, who is very, very pro-Israel, okay? Very pro-Israel, goes after, I know Matt Bernstein has talked about her a lot on his podcast, A Little Fruity, and I know he's talked about her before, and he's gone into her and her just like craziness, but now she is starting Hot Girls for Cuomo. Okay, so these are the people. So Republicans are the one who are coming out for Cuomo. Just saying. I feel like it shows where he's at policy wise. Anyway, this is what she said.
So if you are a hot girl for Andrew Cuomo, I want to hear from you. But in fact, let's hear from Andrew himself. Enough of me. We're going to play this or that sports edition. Jets or Giants?
Well, first remember, I was the governor, so I support all New York teams, but
we're going to get the real answer.
By birth, Jets, because I was born in Queens.
Okay.
So it'd be the Jets.
Knicks or Nets?
The Knicks, but the Nets have Michael Porter, and that is really exciting, and welcome to New York.
Welcome to New York, Michael. Rangers or Islanders?
By birth, Islanders.
Mets or Yankees?
By birth, Mets.
By birth.
This is so boring. I don't like... This is so boring. Like, wait. Also, again, none of this has anything to do with his policies or what he wants to do. Like, he's incapable of talking about it. And I think that's what... And I think, like... And, you know, because that's something they said in the debate today, is Zoran keeps saying that, like, like, they're old school, they're stuck in the past, I'm going to do things different. And I think that's what Zoran is showing just in how he's running, because he has a platform, he has policies and stances that he's willing to stand on, and Cuomo just doesn't. Like, if you were to ask someone in New York, like, what are Cuomo's policy, like, what are one of his policy initiatives, I don't know if anyone could answer that, because he's not running on any policy initiatives. He's just running against Zoran. And so it's like, okay, then what is this? And this is just so boring. Who cares? And they're also doing this because everyone's like, he doesn't really live in New York City, because he doesn't. But, you know.
It's all regional, right? I'm from Queens. So it was Mets, Jets, Islanders.
Yes. What's New York's best tourist attraction?
Oh, you have to do the Empire State Building, and you have to do the Freedom Tower.
I've never been to the Freedom Tower, but the Empire State Building is really cool. It is really cool. They have a really cool elevator. We'll get back to this, but this is really boring. So I'll tell you a story. So when I went to New York with my friends, we went to the Empire State Building, and it was so fun because we were just like so drunk, right? And we were just so drunk, and we were walking on the street, and my one friend's talking to everyone. He invited this guy to come with us, like. It was insane. And so we go to the Empire State Building, and we get in the elevator, right? Because there's just like this elevator, and it's so cool. They have like not just like music, but this whole like show. It's like there's images and everything, and you feel like you're just like going up, and there's images all over, and there's music, there's all kinds of stuff, right? And me and my friends are like screaming. Screaming in this elevator. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? What is going on? I think I have a video of it actually. And when we got out of the elevator, everyone could hear us. And they were looking at us like we were completely insane, because we were. It was a great time though. It was a great time. It was one of my best one of my best memories, I gotta say. Plus, the Nets getting Michael Porter Jr. isn't even exciting. They're still gonna lose. I know nothing about sports, so I don't know that. And yes, we are gonna watch Francesca's funny bit about this too. Because Francesca did a bit about her Hot Girls for Cuomo thing, and so we're gonna watch that as well.
One.
Empire State.
I think they're so cool, and their social medias run so phenomenally.
Yeah.
New York City's best deli.
Best deli, Katz's, which is a classic.
But not the long lines.
And it is New York. You wait on the line, it's worth it.
Yeah, and best pizza. That's a tricky one.
Best pizza is Gabby's Pizza on Hillside Avenue, Francis Lewis Boulevard in Queens.
Wow, I never had that. Take note. What do you think is New York's best restaurant? This is a big endorsement, guys.
What does this have to do with anything? This is actually like really annoying, because I think that a lot of like Cuomo and a lot of the Democrats who are like, oh, we need to use social media more, because that was every time they ask him what did he do wrong when he ran in the primary, he's like, oh, I need to use social media more. You're not using it correctly though. Like, you're just doing these, like, this is boring. This is not telling me anything about your policies or what you're going to do for New York. Like, this is stupid. This doesn't do anything. Like, they're all gaining the wrong insight from this. It's not that he's good at using social media. It's that, well, I mean, he is good at using social media, but it's not that he's using social media. It's that he's actually talking about his policies, and he's being creative when he does it. That's what it is. This is just nothing. This is nothing.
One of my personal favorites is Fresco's by Scotto.
What's the cuisine? Sounds Italian.
Italiano.
Yeah, come on, classic.
Lasagna.
What's New York's best season? Winter or summer?
Oh, summer.
This is so dumb. Also, the Italian thing, that's another thing that I didn't really go off on, but it was so funny because in the debate, he's like, you're anti-Italian for giving Columbus the finger. Can we stop? Why are we still doing this? How much longer must we sit here and act like Christopher Columbus is someone that should have a statue? Nobody liked him in his time period. We shouldn't like him now. He started the transatlantic slave trade. He is a genocidaire. So no, how about it's not anti-Italian. It's just having morals. I don't know. This is so dumb. It's so dumb. Can we stop? God, it's just like so ahistoric. It's so ahistoric. People didn't like him then either, man. He was not a good guy.
For sure.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna. I was hoping you would say that because everyone comes for the iconic winters, but I can't take the cold.
No.
Can we do something about the weather here?
I'm going to work on it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm
you.
wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Today, I'm officially starting Hot Girls for Cuomo. So,
Oh my God, that was so insane. That was so stupid. You gained nothing from that. Learned nothing from that. Hello, it's only vibes. Yeah, it is only vibes. That's the thing. It's like they think that Zoran is just running on vibes. They think that he's just good at social media and he always likes to belittle him and be like, your TikTok dances. Every single video he's done has had substance in it, okay? He always talks about how he is going to make things more affordable consistently. That has been his consistent message every single time. It's not just making TikTok videos. It's not just doing TikTok dances. And I don't even think he's done a TikTok dance. He's like belittling him. And yet his social media strategy is even worse. He has no idea what he's doing. And this was nothing. We learned nothing about Andrew Cuomo and what he's going to do. Absolutely nothing. All we know is that this Republican is supporting him. That's the most we can glean from that. Yeah, she is something too. She's insane. This girl is insane. So having her endorsement is not a plus to me. It's funny they want to keep going after Zoran for a Zoran TikTok dance would do numbers. It really would. Even Curtis seems better. No, and that's what everyone's saying. Everyone's like Curtis Lewa would be better. People like Curtis Lewa more than they like Cuomo, which is why it's so funny that everyone's asking him to drop out, because people don't like Cuomo. The only people who are voting for Cuomo are the centrist Dems, who are centrist Dems and libs and libertarians and like probably some right wingers because they just don't think Sliwa has a chance. But like the people that are voting for Cuomo are not voting for him because they like him. They're not voting for him because they believe in him. They're voting for him because they think they think Zoran is communist or socialist and no, so scary. That's what they think. Yeah, it's just, it's insane. I forgot what I was saying before. Oh, but she's crazy. Like, she's crazy. And it's funny because they keep saying that Zoran is, like, anti-Semitic and that all this other kind of bullshit, right? This lady, this lady is so Islamophobic. This lady is crazy, okay? She's been on Piers Morgan's with many people, and she is insane, all right? She's insane, all right? So having her endorsement, I don't think is a good thing. But, you know, hey, whatever. He also went on Logan Paul the other day, which, oh, man. All right, let's watch the Francesca bit about this. Sorry, these are all my saved things.
I am a hot girl for Andrew Cuomo, and I come from a long line of them. My mom is a hot girl for Andrew Cuomo, and so was my grandmother until she died in a nursing home in 2020. I'm a hot girl for Andrew Cuomo because I love the smell of coffee breath and Dracar Noir next to my face, asking me things like, "Do you like older men?" And I do, because I have a shipping container of untreated daddy issues. I'm a hot girl for Andrew Cuomo because I don't mind the person I work with kissing me or touching me, so long as that person is Italian, because I like pizza, and pizza is New York. So if you don't love an Italian man touching you, you don't love New York City. Just like great Italians in history, Andrew Cuomo never asks for consent. Look at Christopher Columbus. Did he come to America and say, "Excuse me, can I genocide and enslave you?" I don't think so. That's so beta. And speaking of beta, is there anyone who is more asks for consent, finishes last than Zoran Mamdani? He keeps talking about free buses, but nobody I know rides the bus because they're white. They're in the Uber next to the bus that's causing the traffic. What about free lip filler or free hot yoga and community-run med spas? Why isn't Zoran talking about that? So if you're into aging conservative predators, join Hot Girls for Cuomo and vote Andrew Cuomo on November 7th. Paid for by Bill Ackman and Jerry Seinfeld. I am a...
That was genius. That was genius. That was pure genius. Francesca is the best. She's amazing and I love her so much. That was genius. That was just pure genius. That was so funny. She is the best. She is the best. Frantifa. Yes. Frantifa. I hope she didn't buy that wig just for this. No, she didn't. She's been doing a lot of things like this, like pretending, like she's been doing a lot of shorts where she's like pretending to be MAGA, and it's actually really funny. It's hilarious. I remember Bernie dropping out to unite the party, Cuomo. Exactly. They keep asking Sliwa to drop out, and he keeps getting like very angry because he's like, I won my primary. Cuomo didn't. Okay. And I think that that's something that's what's so insane about all of this is Cuomo. People don't want Cuomo. He got voted out. He didn't win the primary. He's not the Democrat on the ballot. So why is everyone asking for Sliwa to drop out? Cuomo should be the one dropping out. He shouldn't even be running right now. And when you have the president of the United States saying that, like, oh, Cuomo is the one that he wants to win, then I don't know, maybe people should take that into consideration, okay? Take that into consideration that his policies are something that, he thinks are better than Zoran, so just saying. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. No, I love her so much. She is honestly the best. She is so good. She's amazing. Let's see. So I know Zoran, before he went to the debate, he was like walking with everyone today. And then I guess he was on the bus today and everyone was cheering him on. Okay. Sorry. Look at that.
Zoran, how are you feeling about tonight's debate?
Doing great. Hey, see, buddy.
Is Tish gonna be your PC?
After Commissioner Tish a job?
Guys, he's gonna talk right at the end.
Look at this. Do you think Cuomo gets this? Do you think Cuomo gets that? People don't like him like that. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Like, people love him. And when he was walking down the street, I was seeing all these different, like, because yesterday I guess he walked, because I know he did this in his first, when he was first running in the primary, they walked like the length of New York. I don't know if they walked the length of New York last night, but I know that he walked with a lot of New Yorkers yesterday, and everyone was taking pictures with him. Everyone was like so excited to see him. And who has this kind of momentum? Who has this kind of popularity? Like, I just don't know anyone. And Cuomo certainly does not. People don't like him. People are not voting for him because they like him. One of the last things I think I'm going to cover, because I have been, because I started a little early today, is the ICE raids in New York. So they talked about this a little bit in the debate, but yesterday there were ICE raids in New York, and this one lady is like a freaking hero, man. She's in her business suit. She's getting home from work and she is going off on them. Okay, look at this. Oh God, why does it have to have music? Jesus Christ. Okay, look at this. Okay. Oh my God. Like, she is fighting. Look at her. God. Look at them. Oh my God, I love them so much. Look at that. I love this so much because they're not afraid, man. New Yorkers are not afraid. Oh God, I want to live in New York so bad. But this is I love this so much. And I know this has been happening in a lot of other cities, but I just feel like in New York, it's so funny that everyone collectively is get out. Even if you're a business person, even if you work in corporate America, she's out there. She is in her corporate dress and she's out here putting her face in ICE's face, putting her finger in ICE's face and being like, F you, get out of here. We don't want you here. And it's iconic. It's iconic. And the amount of people that have just come around and are like, get out of here. We don't want you here. Leave. God, it's just so cool. It's just so cool to see. It's so cool to see. Look at this. Oh my God. It's so cool to see. And of course, the police are trying to fight back because I love how they're just like following them. They're following them through New York. Everyone is just like, they dropped what they're doing and they're just following them through New York. God, I love New Yorkers. Oh my God, that's so cool. It's just so cool. And I love this lady. Look at this lady. Look at this lady. She's like coming home from work and she's like literally fighting with ice. Oh my God. If you want to get to Spider-Man, you got to get through us. Maybe this is why they want missiles. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, Ice just bought missiles. Yeah. Things are getting really bad. Like things are getting so bad actually. And it's funny because I feel like, there are good things that are happening. Right. And like, and it is good that so many people came out on No Kings, and it is good. I'm going to do No Kings like video recap, fallout video, whatever, of what happened afterwards. I've just been like not going live on Sunday, kind of threw me off my schedule. And anyway, that's not the point of this. What were you saying? Sorry. Oh yes, they bought missiles. Anyway, so like I was saying, sorry, I get sidetracked. So like I was saying, a lot of good things are happening. Like I think Zoran is going to win. I hope, knock on wood. This is probably like plywood, knock on wood. Anyway, so I really hope he's going to win. I really think he probably is. And, everyone came out and showed their dissent on No Kings, and it's showing that he does not have a mandate. Trump does not have a mandate, and his approval ratings have been going down, and like all those things are good and well. But the more unpopular he gets and the more people start pushing back, the more authoritarian they're going to get. And the more authoritarian they are getting. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they sent ICE into New York the day before the debate. I don't think that's a coincidence. And now they're buying missiles and shit, and we're just like, we are going to take our military complex, our military industrial system, and we're going to turn it inwards, which is fascism. And not that it hasn't been turned inwards before, but it's just going to be at a scale that I think people aren't ready for and they're not prepared for. And I think that a lot of people think like, well, like even in the debate today, they're like, okay, well, who do you want to run in 2028? It's like, okay, well, I think I get that that's just like a normal question that you might ask in a debate, but I think that we need to, I don't know. And there's a lot of people who take it seriously, but I think that things are getting more authoritarian, and I think that a lot of people are not prepared and are not expecting it and are just kind of like living their lives like, oh, it'll all be fine in 4 years. And I just don't think that's the case. ICE got the missiles. Yes. No. I know ICE got the missiles. I know them. They're not military. I just mean like, I guess what I mean is that we're like, so the police, they have access to all sorts of weapons and machinery that are just like old and that get given to them, right? And so that's why they have all these insane guns. They have all this shit, right? They have a lot of equipment and stuff that has basically helped them militarize our streets. Like I still think that the police are a part of that militarization of our streets, because they have been able to carry all sorts of things. They have been able to use tear gas. They've been able to use all these different things, what you would use in war. Like I think using tear gas in war is actually a war crime, and we use it on the streets to protesters. So basically what I'm saying is that though the military is not the one doing it. It's like ICE or the state police or the federal agents or whatever. It's still using like military like tactics or military equipment that is then turned inward onto the citizens, I guess is basically what I'm saying, because this was already happening with cops, where they would get all this equipment like left over from all these wars that we seem to keep getting in and funding. But like this is blowback. Like this is the blowback from constantly feeding into all of these wars, to constantly starting these wars, to constantly funding them, for our weapon industrial complex, our military industrial complex. Like this is the blowback. It is going to come back on us. So all of these years, all of these decades that we have been committing war crimes and committing all these atrocities overseas in all these different countries, that is now coming back to us. And I think that's what this is. I think it's coming back. This is what it is now. We're going to use the same tactics on American citizens. So while it might not be the military itself and it's like ICE or the police or federal agents, they're still using those same tactics on us, on the citizens now. And so I guess that's my point. But yeah, they did get missiles. ICE got missiles, which is insane. And I don't really understand how I don't understand. Like, what's scary about this is how are they going to, like, what are they going to do? Like, how are they going to use them? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's actually insane to think about, because I don't even know, like, I don't even know how that would look or what that would look like if there's like a protest, or what are they going to do? Just like blow up where people are protesting? Like, I don't put it past them. I don't put it past this. I don't put it past Trump. I don't put it past ICE, but I don't know how that's going to work. But they did buy them, and all of the violence and all of the things that we've done overseas and we've permitted overseas is now coming back to us. And yeah, it's really insane. And very scary. Very scary. So I don't know, but I'm so happy that New Yorkers are fighting back. They're amazing, and I have faith that they are going to run them out of that city. And I think Zoran did really great. I think he did a very good job. I think that he's still high in the polls, and even if Sliwa did drop out, he like the polls would say that he would still win. So, you know, that's one good thing to look forward to. That's one good thing to look forward to. So yeah, I'm probably going to stop it here. I'm sorry. I feel bad because it's only like 8:30, but I've been doing this since 6 because I live reacted to the debate. But just a little what is it? Housekeeping? Yeah, housekeeping. I am going out of town on Sunday. I'm going to Universal. And so I will not be streaming on Sunday, but I will be posting videos and stuff. So I'm going to make some videos before I leave, and I'll be posting them next week. But I won't be live next week because I will be out of town. I get back like the day before Halloween, so I'll be live next Sunday, just not this Sunday. So yeah, sorry for the kind of messed up schedule the past few weeks. I had a friend from Colorado that was in town, and so I got to hang out with them, which was really fun because I haven't seen them for like basically a year now. And my other friend, so earlier this year, my two best friends moved. One moved to Colorado, one moved to Florida. And so I am now going to visit my other friend in Florida. So that's what I'm doing on Sunday. I'm really excited. I'm probably going to post pictures and stuff. I'm most excited for Halloween Horror Nights. My bucket list, it's been on my bucket list for like ever, and so I'm very excited. I'm going to do that next week, I think on Wednesday. So I'm very excited. So I apologize that there will be no streams on Sunday and Wednesday, but I'm still gonna post. I'm gonna probably post some highlights from the first and second debate, and then I'm gonna post some other videos too, so that way I'm still keeping up with stuff, just won't be live. So yeah, just wanted to let everyone know that, give everyone a heads up. And yes, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. I was really so excited to react to this debate live, so I'm very excited I got to do that. I got to hang out with you guys and watch it. So yeah, thank you so much. Is the monitor helping? Oh yes, shout out to Walk Miles. They gave me a monitor at the No Kings rally, and so now I have a monitor. Yes, it is helping. Thank you very much. So now I have a monitor. So yeah, very exciting. So thank you so much. Yeah, I met Walk Miles at No Kings. We had lunch. That was so fun. And yeah, we had a great time. It was a wonderful day. And so yeah, now I have a monitor. So thank you very much. Thank you. And yes, thank you guys. And I'll keep you updated, and I'm gonna post some videos next week. And thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much. Okay, then we're gonna say thank you to my members. So shout out to Troy Roberto, Crystal Safira, and Crufflo. Thank you so much for being members. And please like, I forgot what I was going to say. Man, please like and subscribe and turn on post notifications and all the things. And yes, thank you all so much. This was a really fun night. I love you all. And I will see you in like a week. But you'll see my videos. So it's all good. All right. Bye.